the back seat. Check the back seat.
All right, come here.
Check the back seat.
Gets in your head, right? Good. Because every year, dozens of children are forgotten in the backseat of a car by a parent or caregiver. All never thought it could happen to them. But with changes in routines, distractions, or a sleeping child, it can happen to anyone. Parked cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. So get it in your head.
Check the back seat.
A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over. Danced to another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Hello, Matt, Josh.
Hello. How we doing?
Hello.
What's up?
Their StreamYard looks different today. They have an update, and now I'm confused.
Yeah.
There was an update.
Was it today or I happened
think
to be
it was-
a couple
I saw
days
it
ago?
yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a couple days ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm in now. I'm good. I'm great. I'm great. Happy to be here. Gonna be a
Are
fun
you
weekend.
turning the volume up?
Yeah, I was a little too low.
I turn
Oh.
it down for Matt now because he
Oh.
complains about it all the
What
time.
a guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, you're welcome. Want to make sure you're all good.
I am all good. I am all good.
I don't think I almost ever have to touch the volume over here. It's just like in the same level all the time. So Josh Peterson and I, and if anyone's here for after hours,
Handshake
pretty much
meme.
the same.
Yeah, there definitely is a little. There's. It can be too low. Like for sure. I like to hear my own voice too. Shocker. Matt likes to hear his own voice a lot, but I got to make sure it's at the right volume. He's just Connor Happer is very loud, but I also at the same time it's like I don't put both of my ear, so it has to be a little bit.
Gary
higher.
used to have it up really loud because he would use his buds, and the buds,
Oh, yeah.
the
Big
buds,
buds guy.
yeah, he would jam that thing up way.
I don't
loud.
know why he used
Severe
the
does buds, but it is low.
Yeah, he must have better buds.
Yeah.
He must have better buds.
I don't know. I think
My
Gary loved using the buds just so he could be like, yeah, use buds. Like that was
Well, I kind of like the
that was
buds
kind of
too
his
because
bit.
I don't like stuff over my ears for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys, the younger guys, so the older guys at ESPN used headphones. The younger guys at ESPN used buds. It was a very interesting contrast.
Snow had like double IFBs. Have you seen his deal?
Whoa,
There, it was wild
Well,
because he's a TV boy.
I forgot to tell him to bring headphones because his experience was much like mine, where at the ticket there was always just headphones
Yeah,
available.
He doesn't
for you.
need them. He's got them.
Yeah.
He's got like they're wired ear. They're buds, but they do the hooks over the ears.
Oh.
They look like molded IFBs.
Whoa. Okay.
Which is
wow.
absolutely nuts to me and possibly a great investment. I might need to do that.
Are you the type of guy like you like things that are molded to your body? Like you like things that like, oh, I got a glove that's molded to my hand, or I like, or I like
I'm telling you,
things that are
molded isn't that great of a
molded to
thing.
my feet or
Well,
something like that.
I mean, I guess I would prefer that to it being uncomfortable.
Okay. You're a man of comfort. That's what you are, more than anything. I really found that out in Kansas City when I walked in to the 1620, the house in KC, and I immediately found you in the massage chair.
That was a bit.
You
Yeah.
were, well,
That was because it was there.
I walk in and I hear it kind of go, oh.
What a thing to walk into.
And I walk to the door. I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And I walk in and you have your hat off.
You walk
like,
into a house and you see a massage chair and you don't sit in it? You're crazy.
You started dying when I saw you.
Was the massage chair like part of the allure of booking that house?
I didn't know.
I didn't know it was there.
And I certainly
okay.
didn't have any hand in booking it.
No.
It was a Proudhon joint.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I walked in and there was a bunch of rooms and they're like, new guy, couch. And I'm like, great. And I slept
no,
on
I
the
think we
couch.
gave you some options, didn't we?
I slept. I like the couch was comfortable.
You were adamant that you preferred the couch.
It was a comfy
Mhm.
couch. And
Yeah.
then I had to tear the couch up looking for my keys.
Ah.
And then the dichotomy of the couch kind of all got messed up and the pillows were in the wrong spot. And then when we got back
no.
from that wretched game, it was like 2:00 in the morning and I had to be up in
Wretched.
two and a half
Hey, they
hours.
won.
It was a dub.
If that's wretched,
It was more so the fact that we had to carry the boats after you guys were leaving the Arrowhead and like had to be on till 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That was the wretched part.
Yeah, it was a tough post game.
I love. Don't get me wrong. I love doing the post.
We had a situation that just didn't work out.
I enjoy doing the BRORs and I enjoyed everything about that KC trip, but it's like you're just never going to convince me to have fun broadcasting until 1:30 in the morning. Like that's just
See, that part is fine for me. It's just I need to know that everything technically is going to work.
That's his bugaboo.
And that the show sounds good.
yes.
I was concerned about both of those things.
You're not in it just for the talking?
No, I just want it to sound good. That's it. That's my only thing.
There was a lot of there was a lot of that in that trip. There was a lot of where are we going to be? I'm like, what are we going to do? I wasn't a part of that though. Josh and I drove back in my slightly broken car and had a great time.
Had to hear Kyle Crooks.
Yes,
got to hear.
No, we got to hear. We were
What
like,
did Kyle say?
Well, it was like, oh, this is the new guy.
Yeah.
This is his first
Check out the
time.
new guy.
Oh, you
First-
re-listened to his radio call?
No. We turned on the radio
At halftime when we
yeah.
Oh, back to the
I connected my phone and I was like, hey, let's listen to this guy. And it was interesting. It was like his very first call and him and Dave. It's funny listening. Like I listened to them at the end of the year and it was different.
Yeah.
It was for sure different. But
Damon was doing math.
yeah, dude. I thought that was a great fit this year. But I enjoyed it.
On an island.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was really funny.
Remember the first time it got sent to me and someone was like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I do not answer for Damon.
It was two guys.
As long as the math
individually-
checks out, I'm fine with
It was two guys individually broadcasting in game one in KC between those two. And by the end of the year, it was a tango. It was a
broadcast critiquer Matt McMaster.
No, I know they're
Wow.
both incredibly talented individuals. You could tell they hadn't broadcasted a lot together. By the end of the year, they were yin and yang. They were figuring it out. Good luck with that, Dan. You know, it really had its charm. You know.
So I have a little mini topic here.
Go
Topic
ahead.
alert.
I'm watching the softball game last night.
Okay.
And a graphic pops up on the screen, and I believe this was an extra innings, detailing Nebraska's last extra innings win in the Women's College World Series, I
Walk-off.
think.
Walk-off.
Walk-off, yeah. Nebraska versus Creighton at the first Women's College World Series, which was held in Omaha at Seymour Smith.
Which I learned all of this is like had no idea Omaha was ever a part of this.
I knew Omaha was the first host. I did not know Nebraska and Creighton played each other in the first iteration of
That's
it.
incredible.
What would happen if that happened now? Nebraska,
In
Creighton,
softball?
softball.
Yeah, I mean, I think there would be a little bit of a like screw you,
a
but
little
it wouldn't-
extra juice. But
Yeah,
I
the
think
thing it
everybody
should
would have
be-
that sort of weird, like, all right, how hard do I want to go here?
Well, the thing is that like the people of the state are pretty genuine, and so I don't think they're going to drum up like fake, being fired up for something that they might have not been fired up before, So I think there would
That's
be
fair.
there'd be a little bit of a rivalry.
We have delved into it's growing a harder edge in volleyball these days.
It is.
It used to be a all for one for all. I love volleyball situation.
Let's grow the game by
it's
putting on a show.
less of that,
Mhm.
but
It's
still
definitely-
mostly that.
It's still mostly that until Creighton beats Nebraska. When it will
And
be
it keeps getting closer
it will
and closer.
it will be it's been the lovey-dovey affair, and it will be the lovey-dovey affair until the Blue Jays get them. And when the Blue Jays get them,
And then it's going to pop
then
off.
it's gonna pop. Then it's gonna be like, oh no, now it's not fun anymore.
So I don't know what would happen in softball if they met each other.
I think it'd be fun. I think it would be more fun than it would be.
In baseball, it'd be blood feud.
It would
Yeah.
be blood feud.
So I was thinking about it. So obviously basketball would be first. If those teams met
Blood
in a
feud.
like Sweet 16, it wouldn't obviously be in Omaha, but like if
Oof.
they met in a Sweet 16, somewhere,
Oof.
like Kansas City or whatever,
How about St. Louis?
would be
God, Archmet.
you need somewhere that you can have good memories for Nebraska to take it away from you. I want that.
Totally.
Actually.
Yeah.
I want you to think of St. Louis in a horrifying fashion.
Or Chicago.
Losing-
How about
Yeah.
if it was in Chicago? That'd be great.
That's a city
Nobody
I
wants to
already
go to
hate.
Chicago.
So
Yeah, like
What do you mean you already hate it?
No,
you don't
it's fine.
hate
I
it.
like
you like Chicago.
Chicago's fine.
You don't love Chicago. You like
it's fine.
You like Chicago a lot.
I
No,
do
he
not
actually
like
hates Chicago.
You actually hate Chicago?
Yeah, hate is probably strong, but it's so much of it is associated with being there for work or various work-related
Okay, that
reasons.
makes sense. Yeah.
When I've gone there for fun, it has been fun. I tend to think it's a relatively overrated city, or relative to the other massive cities, a lot less fun than New York.
You have
or
to
LA
be you
or-
have to be more creative when you're in Chicago. Like things aren't going to hit you in the face as much,
Sure.
in my opinion. You have to.
The
you kinda have
vibe
to have a
isn't
guide.
nearly, it's just part of it is just a Midwest mecca.
That's what it is.
So that doesn't
There-
offer a lot.
no, there's not a party vibe or a bachelor vibe, or it's like, hey, we're in Vegas. It doesn't. You like I said, you kind of have to create it for yourself. I thought of you last night though, when
Oh,
this umpire last night, the most obnoxious umpire
The
of all
delayed
time.
calls. Well, so here's the thing. I didn't have the sound on initially because we have we're trying to get our son to go to sleep and
Mhm.
have the door open. We're all watching it upstairs. And so I don't have the sound on. So for like the first 2 innings, there's no sound. And I am just like,
what a delayed call.
What stupid strike call is this? And then I realized it got worse when the sound was on.
Dude, I like flipped out one time where
The
Jordy,
strike zone was very roving also, by the way.
all game long. It started off as a soup can. And then as the game
Yeah.
went on, it got wider and wider and wider.
I
But
love when this happens.
Only part of it. Like,
Love what?
Well, there was just nonstop commentary about how horrible the umpiring was in softball.
I don't know that she was bad.
I agree with that.
I think she had quirks that I didn't like in terms of
She was annoying.
the delayed call or the noise. The strike
I just like
zone-
this time of year because people just realize that college baseball and softball umpiring exists.
Sure.
And upon recognizing its existence, they come to realize that it is
It's
remarkably inconsistent.
Yes.
No, this weekend will
Yes.
certainly provide
This is-
umpire.
I'm going to be real with you. I am totally, and I'm totally fine with it. I'm completely in the position of, I just got here, guys. Hey,
Mhm.
hi, nice to see you. Nice to
we
meet you.
made
You know.
painstakingly clear that we're softball casual.
Yeah,
That's why I'm so confused as to why ESPN didn't lower the volume of the crowd mic and raise the volume on the announcer so I could, I don't know, hear what they were saying at any given moment of the game.
They did a lot of storytelling.
Yeah, that's what they
Which-
do
that
for
that
that.
post
Too
game
much Jordy from
that post game interview between Ava Kuzak,
That was very good.
It was awesome. It was a
very
great
good.
post game interview, but it was funny. Like, I don't know who the interviewer was, but she did a pretty good job of being like, "Hey, remember you told me this, or remember you told me that, or remember you told me," and then she was like kind of getting her to
Yeah.
tell the story. Like they were informed. It was a good broadcast. I thought of you though, because the only other time I can really remember a big game having a very annoying umpire was Game 7 of the 2016 World Series, where
I mean, I have that
Oh,
black so far out of my
that
you could ask me about a million things from that night, and the umpire is not one of them.
Let's check.
it was the guy who was
who was the umpire?
Let's check.
Okay.
His strike call was woo woo.
What?
Oh, really?
Like it was like a boo, you know?
Yeah, I don't remember this.
Boo. Like it was like a little like hum, like beating hum after
The umpire from that series I most remember is Game 5 because he had a very liberal outside corner for one John Lester.
And
John Lester
and in
painted
game
the-
one, he had a very liberal outside corner for Kluber.
All right.
I
So
wouldn't imagine.
Kluber-
Your team
Cor-
didn't score.
Corey got the same outside corner that John got. I don't want to hear.
One-run
I don't
game
want to
versus-
hear about it. I don't
Whoa.
want to hear about it.
Six
Kluber got the
umpires.
same zone.
6 umpires. Home plate was Sam Holbrook.
Yeah.
First base was Chris Guccione. Second base was John Hirschbeck. Third
getting
base was
to it.
Marvin Hudson. Left field was Tony
Here it
Randazzo.
comes.
And right field was Country Joe West and his country album.
Did Joe do a game? Did
He must have got home plate for a game.
Did he
Yeah,
get home plate for
probably.
a game?
Let's find out.
I mean, there's what you just rattled off 7 umpires there, so they
I don't-
probably did 2 games.
I do not remember.
Joe West was behind home in game 6 of the 2016
didn't matter
World
as it
Series.
ended in
did.
the first inning of that game.
It did not matter at all.
Sam Holbrook has a 93% accuracy score
From the first game?
for
from-
his career.
Oh, he was Game 7. Yeah,
yeah.
that's pretty good.
I'm wearing the shoes today, by the way.
Oh, those don't look comfortable.
They're not. They're not comfortable at all. The heel is kind
They
of.
look
digging
like
in.
they're too skinny on the
You wear those
lightest
with
part of your
shorts?
feet.
No, I would never wear these.
2016.
You are right now.
91.23% accuracy for Game 7 of the World Series.
He just had a very like. Ooh.
I wonder who did Game 7 of the 2014 World Series.
I have no idea. I don't even. Wasn't that? Didn't
Never-
the Royals? Didn't
The
the Royals?
only game where I thought about the umpire would have been Game 5.
Royals lost to the Giants.
but yeah.
Was that? I don't remember that game in the slightest.
What?
Royals,
remember-
Giants, Game 7.
I don't remember that. I
2014.
do not remember.
So did you watch the Nebraska baseball hype video yesterday?
I did not. No.
Really?
No.
Oh, it's getting rave reviews.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
really
What
good.
we have learned is baseball is just very, very small in Matt's
Oh.
sports.
Very small.
Yeah. And college baseball is damn near minuscule.
Thank you.
Just
Well, the guy who narrated the Husker baseball video was an important figure in Game 7 of the
Wade Davis?
2014 World Series.
he was more
No.
important in Game 1 of 2015, one would argue. But
True.
I
Alex Gordon.
Oh, Alex Gordon. Yeah, that would be. That
Alex
would be.
Gordon.
Yeah.
when did you
played at
first
Nebraska?
So this always fascinates me. You come over from Chicago. When did you first learn about some of these like historic Nebraska figures?
Alex Gordon. I had a class with his niece. She was great.
Dude,
She was.
you
nice.
didn't know who Alex Gordon was?
No, I knew Alex Gordon, the Kansas City Royal. I didn't know Alex Gordon,
Okay.
the Nebraska Cornhusker.
Okay. Why would you know him as a Kansas City Royal?
Cornhusker.
No,
Gordo?
Yeah.
Because he played for the Royals.
Again, it's been established that like baseball is not like a big part of. And you were
So-
a Cubs guy.
In 2015,
Probably
we
when
were-
he was like third in MVP voting.
in
that one.
2015, the Cubs were going to need we were going to need another outfielder.
Oh,
Go and
dream
make a
on,
run.
buddy. 2015.
In 2015,
What's funny about that
Royals
is
were
there's
good-
like a 3-year stretch where it's like, are the Royals going to trade Gordon because it's not working here?
Hey-
And then after that,
Yeah,
never
but that was
again.
in like 2012.
Yeah, what I mean though is
Yeah.
like after that, you never heard
Yeah.
about him playing anywhere ever
in
again.
15, his contract was coming up, and the Cubs needed another outfielder. And I'm like, Alex Gordon is awesome. I would
Isn't
love
it
for him
coming
to
off
be
of
a
the World Series year. There's no way
Well, we ended up signing.
The Royals were the clear-cut favorite to win the World Series in 2015.
he's going.
You're not getting Alex
You're
Gordon.
getting yelled at.
I said going into 20. This is, by the way, 13-year-old Matt McMaster take. I'm just telling you.
I want the best
I'm
left fielder in
Yes,
baseball.
that's what I wanted.
I
It
want
was
to
coming
I
up.
want to take the cornerstone
he's
piece
reading
off of a
bleacherbums.com.
championship team.
That's what I was reading.
Classic
I was like, oh.
Miami Heat
He
fan.
was-
Tyler Hero for Giannis. Who says no?
he was coming up on his heading into 16. He was coming up on his contract. The Cubs did spend a lot of money on an outfielder that offseason. They spent it on Jason Hayward. I would have liked it if they could have coerced Alex Gordon out of Kansas City. They could not.
During the 15 season.
No,
at the
after
deadline.
after the 15 season.
So
I'm talking about
after he had
free
won
agency.
Game 1 of the World Series.
I'm talking free agent.
After Urias Familia tried to quick pitch him and he hit it over the center field wall.
Yes.
Okay.
And it
Good idea.
was a really bland home run call and an amazing moment from
Like-
Denny.
Ty Lue, I found out Ty Lue was a Nebraska alumni, like at a basketball game.
Okay.
Like he just his face popped
You
up.
didn't. You saw the jersey up. In the,
No, I didn't even see the jersey. His just face popped up on the screen. They were doing like famous alumni or famous basketball alumni or whatever. And I was like, oh, the guy who got stepped over against, Allen Iverson. He played
LeBron's
at Nebraska.
coach?
Yeah. I was like, oh, more accurately, the 2016 NBA champion, Tyronn Lue. So I don't know. Is
what
there
about
any?
Mike Brown? Did you know Mike Brown was a Nebraska Cornhusker?
You know what? I found out when I committed
Your
to Nebraska.
first year of life was like Mike Brown's
best
breakout.
year, yeah, ever.
The guy, all he did was catch interceptions and to return them for touchdowns.
I
When you
and win games.
committed,
when I said, "Hey, I'm going to Nebraska," like this is where I'm going to
did you
go.
do a graphic?
No, I was not a loser.
Hat ceremony.
And someone's like, "Oh, you know Mike Brown?"
No,
there?
Dad. My dad was like, "Hey, Mike Brown went to Nebraska." I was like, "Oh, cool." My dad loves Mike Brown. My dad,
I think Mike Brown has a very high favorable rating
Dude.
amongst any Bears fan.
like we would have like Bears Day because all the Bears owners went to my high school. All the McCaskies went to Notre Dame College Prep. That's why they're dummies. So it's like it's
What
one of
Indiana
those-
school are they going to go to now?
Probably Carmel. I don't know.
Did you
Culver.
so what did you think about Sue?
I knew
You had to have hated Sue.
knew Sue was a Nebraska guy. I could not stand Ndamukong Sue. I had to learn to like Ndamukong Sue. And it really just came from how everybody here would talk about him and how much they loved him. And,
What about
to-
Levante?
I've always had a tremendous amount of respect. for
How could you
Levante.
not love Levante?
I think Levante. I always thought.
And now
Levante-
you
Unless you're Bo
admit that
Pelini trying to get him to play
better
defense.
player overall than Urlacher, right?
Levante?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. What are you talking about? Not even close. I mean,
Not even close?
it's not even close. I mean, Brian Urlacher is one of the three best linebackers of all time.
Well, that's not true.
What did you know about?
This is fun. I'm enjoying this. Actually.
Yeah. What did you
But
think?
Sue, I knew was a Nebraska guy, and I hated him. I hated him. Can't stand him. I honestly did not start liking Ndamukong Suh until like 3 years ago.
What about let's switch this up a little bit. What about like Doug McDermott? What was your
Schaefer? I was just gonna say that.
You know what? Better
because
one.
he was a bull at one point.
Kyle Korver. Because I love Kyle Korver.
You had no idea he went to Creighton.
No clue.
Yeah, you probably didn't know what Creighton was at that point.
No
Or that
clue.
he's from what, Pella, Iowa?
I found same thing with Korver. Like I went to a Creighton game my sophomore year of college. Like we just drove out to Omaha and I looked up in the rafters. I was like, oh,
Corver.
Yeah. I was like, that's sick.
Did you wonder who that Gibson was too?
No. I knew who the Gibbs.
Taj.
No, not Taj.
Wait, you knew Bob Gibson went to Creighton?
No, well, actually, I am.
That would be an upset.
I actually didn't know. Yeah,
I don't think I learned about Bob Gibson.
I thought you were more so
until someone told me
saying,
about
do
it
you
at
know
the
who
charity
Bob
event.
Gibson is? No, I did not know Bob Gibson went to.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be a huge
I didn't
upset.
have, no, I didn't know that either.
When did you know that Gail Sayers is from Omaha?
Omaha Central High School.
Ever?
No.
He was on my top 10 list of Omaha athletes.
I think I went to Warner Park and I was. I think that was it.
Everybody happens upon it different ways. Yeah.
I always knew he went to Kansas. I always knew he was a Kansas guy because my dad
probably
loved.
in like middle school just learning about the history of football, and it's like, wait, that guy's from Omaha and he didn't go to Nebraska. What the hell?
What's wrong with him?
We went to a Bears game in 2016 or 2017. It was a year after they drafted Trubisky. Mike Lennon was the starting quarterback, and we were out at the concourse, and Gail Sayers was standing up at one of the tables. And Dad was like, "Oh my God, do you know who that is?" And I was like, I was like 14. I was like, "No." He's like, "That's Gail Sayers. That's the Kansas Comet." And we walked up to him and was like, "Hi, Mr. Sayers," and shook his hand.
You should have said, "Go Eagles."
No.
Brief aside,
Central Eagles.
how often have you watched Brian's song?
Who?
The movie
Never heard
about Gail and his bro.
You've never heard of Brian's
I've never
song?
seen it. Maybe I've probably heard of it in passing. I haven't
Isn't
seen
that
it. No.
not like required for Bears people?
I haven't
Brian
seen it.
Piccolo?
They don't just put it on the last day of school.
Do you
and-
know who Brian Piccolo is? You need to just text your dad that you've never heard of Brian's song.
Okay.
Because this is a failure on his part, I think.
Let me text him.
Whoa.
Not a shout out to Matt's dad.
Is that am I wrong here?
It feels like it would be.
Yeah.
Why haven't
I still think he's too.
Gail Sayers
I
is?
still think he's too young.
His dad would be too young?
No, Matt.
Well, yeah, Matt would be too young.
Brian's song? Why haven't you shown me Brian's song? Question mark.
Looks like
He
it's
is.
streaming on
I
Prime
can't
right
get.
now.
I can't get too contentious with him though because he did buy me something very nice yesterday.
He did. I was there for the
Oh.
call.
We're going to the Christmas game. Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. That is
Matt,
happening.
Brian's
like,
song is 74 minutes long.
Oh, perfect.
It's a TV movie.
I can knock that out.
It's
3
a very,
episodes.
very famous TV.
Yeah.
movie. A lot of grown men claim it made them cry.
Uh-huh.
You know, I don't like sometimes I imagine somebody at some point has thought like I wonder what Matt would be like as an adult, as like a fully grown adult. And I oftentimes just go, I just be my dad. Like what my dad is probably what I would be. Him and I are very similar.
It's a pretty safe guess.
And we went ahead and when the Bears and Packers got announced on Christmas, we were both annoyed. We're like, oh my God, like we're gonna have to do Christmas, and then like the Bears game is gonna like have to ruin the day or be a distraction. All we're gonna think about is the Bears game. He goes, well, screw having Christmas in the Bears game. Let's just make Christmas the Bears game.
Why don't we just go to
Is
the
your,
Bears?
was your
Right.
brother going to go to the Bears game?
No, it's just Dad and I.
Whoa.
It's me and Pops. It's a business trip. I mean, we're playing the Packers in December.
That's really
I mean,
cool.
You guys are packing up to go to Indiana.
I've always wanted something to go to, like a sporting event that I could go to on Christmas. I've never had the option.
I don't think I ever have either. I don't think the Bulls ever hosted.
I did not go to
for
the Creighton
Christmas.
DePaul game that one year, 2022, the most watched college basketball game of all time on Fox.
I think
it was.
I think I've gone to games on almost any holiday you can think of outside of Thanksgiving. Like I've been to games on Easter. I've been to games on I'm going to go to a game in Christmas. I went to every 4th of July. We went to a Cubs game or a Sox game or something.
I oftentimes think like when I watch the Knicks on Christmas Day or
You'd be
something,
like, that'd be dope.
I look at those people and I'm like, these people probably do this every year.
Yeah.
They go and they bring their families. They go to the Knicks game on Christmas Day, and how different my Christmas Day is from their Christmas.
Or they
Day.
make the Pinstripe Bowl every year, and then they end up going to that
I
game.
have traveled on Christmas because of dumb bowl games before.
Yeah.
Connor's going to end up going to Jumanji 3 this Christmas.
I just want something to do on Christmas. Isn't Christmas a good movie day?
I want to go to a big sporting event. I want to do that.
Dude, I don't think there's going to ever be a bigger sporting event that I could go to. For me personally on Christmas.
Probably not.
Well, there's nothing else that would be, it's always going to be an NFL regular season game.
Yeah.
You're getting, Bears Packers.
But that's the thing. It's not just that it's Bears Packers on Christmas. It's a good Bears team potentially on Christmas.
Well, it's a Bears team that you said if they don't win the Super Bowl, you're going to be upset.
Yes.
Which is just an incredible lane to set for yourself.
This is the best Bears team heading into a season of my life. Minus the obvious Super Bowl team that I was 4 years old for.
But they weren't expected to be that.
I wouldn't know
that year.
I wouldn't really know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there for that discourse. I wasn't there for the expectation of what Rex Grossman led Bears were going to look like.
What are the odds on them this year? Are they like the divisional favorite? Because they can't be, right?
Mr. Packer lover.
I'll check it out.
I don't know why my tab isn't working.
I don't know who the favorite for the NFC North is.
I think everybody in the NFC North thinks that they're going to make the wild card.
Precisely.
I think the Vikings are going to win the division. It's an even year. Time to win 13 games.
Division, NFC.
They have a 1-year quarterback situation.
The Lions are the favorite.
Wow.
No.
How do I zag on that?
No.
Yeah, pick the Lions to not make the playoffs like I did last year. Packers
Very
plus
nice job by
250,
you.
Bears plus 320, Vikings plus 500.
Who is our bad vibes team this year?
I haven't decided yet. We're getting close.
Packers are putting their candidacy out
you
there.
You and I both agreed on the Lions. I remember I told you, I was like, I don't believe in the Lions this year. And you go, I'm thinking about that being my bad vibes team. I'm like, that's my bad vibes team.
Bad vibes.
Like I said,
I'm getting bad vibes with the Niners.
Lions to miss the playoffs plus 168.
Love it. I got nothing yet on bad vibes teams. I have not dug into the category.
Can the 49ers be a bad vibes team when they were a bad vibes team like 2 years ago and then 4 years ago? Like they kind of just have this.
Well, that's another.
They're sort of becoming every
maybe.
other. Like Minnesota can't be a bad vibes team when it's 2027 because they haven't made the playoffs on an odd numbered year in a while.
The funny thing though about like the
it's got to be a good team. It's got to be a team that everybody likes. Bad vibe. Like 2 years ago was the Bills.
Okay, so Chargers. Would you pick the Chargers to be your bad vibes team?
I don't know. I could.
He doesn't have a reason. Is what he's telling.
Yeah,
I love the Chargers this year.
Do you have a reason?
No, I love the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to be.
You will not be picking
year.
the Chargers as your bad.
I
vibes
might be betting on the Chargers to make the AFC Championship game.
Okay,
that might be. I might
for no reason.
I might bet the Chargers win the division. They're plus 190 to win their division.
Is there anything that they have done this offseason that makes you think
Alec Ingold was a hell of a that they're going to fail?
No, like you just listed a fullback as to why you're going to put
Ingold was a great signing. Charlie Kohler was a great signing. He's a tight end. They're going to get their two great tackles back, and Joe Walt and Rashawn Slater.
So you're just banking that their offensive line is going to be good.
Well, they also have
and
Mike
then
McDaniel.
A guy who's never won.
They also have Mike
playoff game.
Mike McDaniel. Yeah. It's a pretty good offensive coordinator.
I would say the leader in the bad vibes category at this very moment would be the New England Patriots.
Okay,
that's a
I'm
very
watching
good one.
them. The bad vibes committee have an eye on
that
them.
might be a tap in for the bad vibes committee.
Right there.
Yeah,
we should like
bad vibes standings.
Bad vibes
season standings.
The bad vibes committee meets about once a month, and they throw out some ideas.
I'll say this. Because you guys often take a step back and you go
Matt,
like, all right,
make us some Mexican
Matt
food?
needs to do this. Well, you Mexican, Cuban, Italian fusion food, if you will.
I don't need the Italian.
The fact that Joey was quote unquote leaking his fake schedule that wasn't ever real
Pretty
is
great.
Hysterical to me.
I
the fact
agree.
that it was like, oh my God, I'm leaking something that doesn't affect anything was insane to me.
Pretty great.
I think that's less insane than him admitting that he deletes tweets if he feels like they don't get enough run.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
his
was
Said that
admission
the other day,
yesterday.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I was not prepared for that.
I was gonna say you can say what you want
Didn't
about
get enough
Will
interaction.
Compton.
He's like, he's taking it down.
I do respect people who like don't delete their tweets, who just take the L if they have a terrible tweet.
That's what you do.
Like Will Compton tweeted out, like, "Oh my God, Nebraska softball won the national championship." Everyone's like, "They won round one, dude." Like, what are you talking about? He kept it up.
He
there.
literally woke up and learned they had a softball team. The softball team was good and won a game.
And he thought it was a natty.
That's
That
a
was
bad-
probably a bit, right?
No, I don't think it was
That's
a bit at
bad.
all.
Probably.
Yeah,
But-
because he was doing the bit about Nebraska basketball when he realized that people hated him last year. He's trolling.
Is he?
I think so.
I think he thinks he's trolling. Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have no clue.
I didn't even know that had happened.
It's kinda
I didn't
fun.
either.
I can't believe Joey deletes tweets if they don't get enough run.
It's pretty great.
That's awesome.
But then
I'm going to start
he
deleting
gets
tweets if they
refined
get
to
too
me,
much
like,
run. God, get me out of this hellhole.
I don't want my notifications to keep lighting
Stop
up.
it.
I get it. I made a
And-
good tweet. Stop.
Oh, I need to recruit some new people to retweet that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was
what do
going
you?
to work on
Stop
that the other
looking
day.
at my tweets.
Wait, real quick. What Connor Happer tweet do we want to retweet right now?
Well, it's the one about the loaded region.
Yeah.
Oh, is there?
But I was
Have you
gonna-
gotten more run on that?
I was going to recruit people that you sort of know, like Sean Bach and other people, to just start retweeting it.
We should just get Kugler, who's got a really big following, to retweet that and be like,
That's what I was thinking. I was trying to
and
like
just
Blowtorch it.
KP or
maybe have Kugler like retweet it with good luck with that, Dan.
Pretty good.
That would be a good one.
Nobody interacts with the tweets anymore. None.
Well, you could do what
You can stop tweeting.
you could do with that guy that you said that you could veer into being, and I'm pretty sure Wilson Dittman doesn't allow any interactions
Yes.
with his tweets.
yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'll consider it.
It's interesting, or is it
Dittman,
like
Dittman
he
maxing.
probably had to do that?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not as disingenuous as him, which is but I still get a lot of pushback. It's very frustrating.
Would you miss the good stuff though?
I don't know. There's not a lot of good stuff there.
No,
There
you're-
isn't. There
you're gonna
isn't.
recruit people
Not
to
for
just
me.
respond to
Not
your
for
tweets.
Chris.
People
You're
used
like,
to like me. Not anymore. Not anymore.
I need to find an army of people that'll just respond to Happer tweets. This is a good tweet.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what I'm thinking.
Where are my Happer backers? Where are my people?
That's a shirt.
I need them to get louder,
Happer
please.
backer.
Because right now the anti-Happer
Yeah,
people
You make them give a
are
pledge.
forcing me off of Twitter.
It's like the halftime of the spring
Happer
game. They have
backers.
to do a pledge that they're going to back you in all situations.
Please.
That's always funny. It was like growing up, like watching YouTube, like you'd have the people who try and like name their fan base something like that. What's up, Ryanites? Like, what's up,
Yeah.
guys? What's up? What's up, Canadian Army?
So
Bajan
weird.
Army. That's what the Happer backers. I should just, what?
I need, and maybe there
that
are
should-
some. They
that
just
should
need to
be
be
my-
a little louder.
That should be
please.
my tattoo that I get. Screw getting like the
So-
the Bible verses that I want to get. I'll just get a Happer backer just
When,
right on the back of my right shoulder.
When the Kirk Cousins thing was at its loudest with this Vikings podcast show that I would listen to, there'd be this guy that would call in and defend him, and then he started recruiting other people, and they referred to themselves as Kirk Cousins Crusaders, and they would
That's a
come
good one.
on and they're like, "Crusader here, Kirk was great today."
Well,
You do.
didn't-
It
didn't-
probably got to the point where you had to identify if
Yeah,
you
it
were a
was a-
Cousins guy or
It
not.
was kind of amazing because it made
That
the whole
is
thing
awesome.
like this is like pro
I
wrestling.
mean, that was
in a
kind of
weird way.
last year with the Tiefys.
I was about to say it was the
Yeah,
Tiefys.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like we had people like Andrew would call and he's like, "Hey,
Hey, just so you guys know,
Tief-
I'm a Tiefy.
Tiefy here.
guy here, man. What are you talking about with Raiola?"
Just a very succinct way to tell people
I was
where you're
very
coming
unkind
from.
to the Tiefys.
I was I got
unkind.
really mad at the Tiefys. Like oftentimes, like when Gary would not be, like it would just be me solo, and Gary would, not be on. Like it would just be me versus the Tiefys.
The most
and then,
famous,
and then Gary would come back, and then like they would
The
call in,
Tiefys
and they
got
would be
real
more
quiet
mad
after the Penn State game.
the most famous one was, of course, the Bo Leavers and the Bo
Yep.
Leavers.
Yeah, I wasn't. Oh, that's a good one.
That went
That's a really
for
good one.
about 3 years longer than
I was a believer.
It should have.
I read and hear all the stories about the Bo Pelini era, and I'll just leave it at this. It sounds exhausting.
Oh, it was toxic.
It's just like I read all of the he won this game, but he lost that game, and we never did this, we never did that. And then like I hear some of the stories from Michael about like how Bo actually was and what Bo was doing.
It's
and
really
whatnot.
just the audio tapes.
And I was just like, this sounds awful. Like I can't believe that you guys
multiple
were,
audio tapes.
But the
Matt.
thing is, Matt,
multiple.
they won the game.
that was the thing. This sounds awful for like the 30 wins that happened in 3 years.
63 wins.
Well,
or
I was
whatever
more
it
so
was.
talking
Yeah.
about that 3-year period where
Sure.
everybody was pissy. But yeah,
Because you kind of got that with Frost, but you got none of the wins.
But you
multiple
got none of
secretly
the wins. None of
recorded
the
audio tapes.
none of the things that made it good. There was 2 that I know of.
Just the two.
Okay,
well, I
that's-
mean, I guess there was the third, which was his last day of employment at
That-
Lincoln North Star.
yeah, that's the one I'm talking.
There was
about.
another one. There was the
Well,
Tommy
there's a-
Frazier one.
There's a post Ohio State,
Yes.
and then there's the one when
Wasn't he
The
talking
North Star.
smack about Tommy Frazier or something like that? I think this is like prior to the UCLA game or something.
Oh,
He said something because somebody said something bad about him in the media or something like that, and it was
isn't
another.
there
audio.
the story of he met somebody who was a message board
Oh, yeah.
guy at a hotel?
2010 Nebraska Texas game.
the Cornhusker.
Yeah,
I've met the alleged individual involved. He
Yeah.
confirmed it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
that was something. That was it
It was a great time.
I had a 3-hour lunch with Michael Severe, and it was
He didn't cover all of it.
it was tell me what you know, and it was more like 2 hours.
Is
but
that when you would like him to do more of his insulting of you than rather than on air?
this is
You missed an amazing crossover, by the way.
this is the
Michael, or it's basically Matt sort of opened himself up for Severe to just list all the things that he has a problem with.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, McMaster's like, well, couldn't you just tell me this off air?
yeah seriously.
And one of them, Severe's like, you need to find some nose trimmers.
I was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah,
Did you get some?
Insane. Well, I did trim my nose later that day. Yeah, I did. That did.
That's
did
one
end
thing
up
that you
happening.
always do. You always are like, hey, don't say that, and then you do that thing.
Was
Oh,
this,
1,000,000%.
Was this the crossover where Michael said, I sat in a corner one night defending you for
Yes,
an
it
hour?
started with that one.
So all
Happer.
sorts of
Happer.
And
He
he was
literally
like, defending
goes-
me from what? And then he just went,
He listed all of the things that people can't stand about me on the air. He was like, your voice, you're from Chicago,
It was a little
you're
too
too
real.
Me and
young.
Michael are kindred spirits.
Yeah, well, Michael's a lot more unapologetic about it.
oh,
than
no,
you are.
there's no, like, he,
Connor will get there with age.
he felt nothing.
He felt, and then he wrapped it back around to, I did end up telling them that you are going to be very successful in broadcasting one day, and all of them are kind of wrong for some of the reasons they don't like you. And I was like, this is great. And then it led to the comment of, you could have just told me this, like, not over the radio, not for everybody in their car to hear.
It's all right. It's all out there.
Not get everybody
It's
who
a
might
reality
be,
show.
not everybody who might be driving being like, yeah, I don't like him too because he's from Chicago. So all right, wow, we went long today. Good lord.
We did.
That is the crossover, powered by Everlove Concrete Repair in Omaha at everloveconcrete.com. Boys, have a good weekend. Middays Matt coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call. Make room for Daddy. But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Man, the College World Series is only a couple weeks away. That's insane. That's incredible.
We're on the road.
We are there. And the road technically started on Sunday, but it really starts today as regionals are happening all across the country. We will see if it happens in Lincoln today. 3:00, first pitch between South Dakota State and Nebraska. Weather pending. Still deciding whether or not I'm going to go. I have my GA tickets. I have admitted at this point on this radio station, I'm very much a part of the crowd of, hey guys, hey college baseball fans, nice to see you. Thanks for having me. I'm going to enjoy watching all this playoff high stakes baseball over the next couple of weeks.
You're more than welcome.
Same thing with college softball. I'm going to be real with you. Softball yesterday, I watched probably good like 5 hours of women's softball yesterday. Thoroughly entertained. Carlin Pickens, absolutely incredible. Nijari Kennedy, riveting to watch her. And then obviously we're going to talk plenty today about Jordy Fromm, Samantha Bland, Bella Bacon, Ava Kuzak, and the Cornhuskers, who, what a win yesterday. What an instant classic against Arkansas. Some high, dude, it was high-level softball yesterday. I mean, it's not that I'm a softball expert, but I know what a great form of a sport looks like, and that was a phenomenal form of what that sport looks like yesterday, going into extras, the back and forth, the drama, the, kind of hanging on to every pitch, the crowd. Shout out to the Bowling Boys who showed up yesterday at Oklahoma State. Jordy Fromm, her husband, her husband, Trey Fromm, and his family, all in the pinstripe getup. I believe also to the bigger gentleman with the incredible tattoos. I believe that was Bella Bacon's father.
Oh, okay.
I think I saw him at the Omaha baseball or at the Omaha softball game when I went there to Connie Clausen Field to see Nebraska play Omaha, and he was in a Bella Bacon t-shirt. I can tell you that is a intimidating man right there. And then he puts on the overalls and everything like that. Atmosphere absolutely incredible yesterday. Shout out ESPN. We don't do this a lot. Team clap for ESPN. Hell of a production, man. Great announcing, great panel work, phenomenal cameras, great graphics. Loved how they used the lower thirds, had very informative stats, told a story throughout the game, gave they cared about both teams. Sometimes I feel like you can tell that they did more prep on one team than another team, or they're way more willing to tell one story as opposed to another story. And that broadcast group did a great job of telling stories of both teams. On
a related note, enjoy Carl Ravitch at the Lincoln Regional if you're watching it on television today.
Yes. Enjoy Carl Ravitch. Kyle Peterson too on the color as well. KP, one of our favorites in terms of the job that he does in terms of college baseball. Yeah,
let me tell you, he was rooting for Lincoln to host a regional.
Big time. Well, here's the funny thing. Some people were saying Nebraska got the #1 broadcasting group, come for their regional. And some people were like, I'm a little indifferent about Carl Ravitch. And I had to go objectively, that is their top group. In ESPN's mind, that is their #1 broadcast group. Some people might have different opinions in terms of the quality of, play-by-play announcer, but in ESPN's hierarchy, that's #1. And I do think it is notable that ESPN was like, all right, who are we going to put our top guys, who we view as the top guys, where we're going to put them at? We're going to put them in Lincoln. So, and I think it was the right call because that stadium, Haymarket Park, is going to be bouncing this weekend. Hopefully, I'll make my way out to Sunday's game. I'm very excited about that. But so great job yesterday from ESPN. Phenomenal Women's College World Series coverage. Nebraska will be back in action tomorrow against Alabama. 6:30 first pitch on 1620 The Zone. Should be a fun time. The Crimson Tide took down UCLA yesterday. Big upset between Tennessee and Texas. I think a lot of people were anticipating the Longhorns were going to move on, but when you got Carlin Pickens on the mound, you're feeling pretty good. That is, by the way, pretty ESPN and just the NCAA and whatever stakeholders in the College World Series have to be pretty happy that Kennedy, Fromm, and Pickens all won yesterday. Like, the more that you can get those three athletes, the more you can get those three pitchers on the top stage in the most important games, the better it is for the sport, because they are must-watch TV. Kennedy, Pickens, and Fromm. Jordy was absolutely phenomenal. And, you know, we talked about the umpiring. We talked about the officiating of the game yesterday. The umpire, whose name I do not know, but we'll say that it's the most obnoxious strike call I've ever heard in my entire life. Her zone got better as the game went on, but you could tell pretty early on.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know.
It was a soup can. It was a soup can in the first 2 innings. All right, it was a soup can for the first. It was small, and then it got better. But Jordy played great. Samantha Bland played great. Bella Bacon played great. We'll talk about all of that coming up throughout the show. Nebraska Baseball, also in a regional. We're going to have our very own, our baseball guy from the Omaha World Herald, Evan Bland, join us. He will talk to us at 12 o'clock. Brian Christopherson of Huskers 24/7 will join us at 11:30. And as always, at 1 o'clock, Austin Jacobsen of Her Dad Sports will come in and talk some high school sports. We'll talk some local Nebraska sports, talk everything, just talk movies with AJ at 1 p.m. Don't forget to reach us at the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Equitable Bank, they take banking personally. They always pick up on the first ring. And you want to call us and get on the action, we implore you to go ahead and call the 402-951-1620. That is the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Prairie Flower Casino, play longer, win more. And we will be checking our Zone Twitter feed, which is powered by Liquid Trucking all day long. Shout out our friends at Liquid Trucking. Pesky Blues, hopefully will join us in the chat at some time. The band, the myth, the legend. Game 7, baby. We're getting it. Oklahoma City versus the San Antonio Spurs. After a riveting, thrilling game 1, and then a pretty decent game 2, where Oklahoma City had some control of it throughout the game, but San Antonio was knocking on the door, trying to steal 2 games on the road, and Oklahoma City ended up winning it. We've now had 3 blowouts. I mean, it's game 6 yesterday was a blowout. Game 5 was a blowout. Game 4 was a blowout. Just not the highest quality of basketball that we've seen over the last few. And I think we got a little spoiled and very excited after the first 2 games where they were very high level basketball. Now both these teams kind of trading. Who's looking sluggish? Who's not playing well coming off of injury? Who's trying to figure some things out?
Who's realized it's not going to happen today and just quits?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's one of those things where you were a fool to think you were going to get 7 of game 1.
Sure,
you were not going to get 7 game 1s.
I did not think one team would score 82 points in a game.
That is true. I think I did not think that we were going to have a game where Victor Wembanyama, by everybody's eyes, is like, this guy's out of it. Like, this guy's just, he's not playing well. Like, he's just not into the game. I didn't think we'd get one of those games either. But game 7, we'll put on. I actually am. I'm sorry. I know we have the tennis on here as Novak Djokovic is up 2 sets in the 3rd round of the French.
Where are you going?
French
What do you?
I want to go to First Take, and I actually want to go to ESPN and see what they're talking about.
Said no one ever.
No. The reason why I say this is because I'm going to be very interested to see how they hype up this game 7, because in a lot of people's eyes, this game 7 may as well be for the NBA championship. Like, it just, Oklahoma City or San Antonio are going to be favorites heading into this. But does ESPN go down the route of being like, no, like they still got to play the Knicks, and stuff like that? I'm very curious how we're going to present the Knicks as a media core.
Well, ABC broadcast the finals, so I don't think you're going to hear anyone saying this is the NBA finals.
Not at all.
Stephen A. Smith is going to be Mr. New York and be like, point. Oh, the Knicks got a shot. He'll do all the selling. And
I'm just very curious how much selling of the Knicks are we going to get through the media? Like, Reggie Miller said during the Western Conference Finals that he thinks the Knicks were going to be favored heading into the NBA Finals. No way. No way that's going to happen. Now, I definitely do think it actually favors the Knicks that they're going to 7 and that they're going to have to go through a grueling series. I mean, the Knicks have just rolled. I mean, they're not really fatigued that much. And like a lot of the games, like there's one thing to say is like, oh, they've played a limited number of games, right? Because they've had the 2 sweeps in a 6-game series. So they've played 14 games, compared to San Antonio and Oklahoma City, who end up playing more than that. But also too, a lot of the games that New York has played, they've blown these teams out. So it's like they haven't really had to expense a lot of energy with their top guys at the very end of the game. Like they haven't had to play too many stressful games in the playoffs outside of that comeback in game 1 against the Cavaliers, which basically ended up being the series. But it'll be I'm just interested to see how we're going to package and promote and get people hyped up for Spurs versus Thunder. The last couple of games have not really been that entertaining or exciting. I do want to say this. I saw a clip yesterday of Michael Wilbon saying that what are kids going to do in the parks now? They're going to start flopping because SGA is flopping. I think that I like Michael Wilbon, Chicago guy. Watch him growing up, have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I think that is one of the more foolish and honestly, just I don't want to, maybe dangerous isn't the right word, but just really stupid thing to say and very harmful thing to say.
Feels like a stretch.
About the 2-time MVP, the reigning MVP of the NBA. Nobody benefits from a comment that frankly is just absolutely ludicrous. Okay. Does SGA flop? Yeah. Okay. Does he sell calls? Absolutely. Is part of the times when he gets balls, sometimes is he thinking, not sometimes, but I don't want to say often either, but a good amount. Is he thinking, how can I get to the free throw line? Absolutely. But man, to go into this like Twitter troll narrative that all SGA does is flop and all he does is get to the free throw line and all he does is bait fouls. That's just wrong. That's just foolish. That's just it tells me you're not watching the game. He does a lot of intricate things so well. He's a mid-range artist. I mean, how he can create space on the floor and hit some mid-range shots, how he uses the baseline, how he slashes to the paint, how he shoots the three-point ball. Look, is selling calls and getting to the free throw line a part of SGA's game? Absolutely. Is that all he does? Absolutely not. No. He is a phenomenal basketball player and an artist when it comes scoring to the ball. And, I'll mention in game 1, he only went to the free throw line. Sorry, game 2, rather, when they won that game. And he was absolutely phenomenal in that game 2. They wouldn't have won that game without him. He only went to the free throw line 6 times. So I think it's just a ludicrous thing to say that kids are going to start flopping now because of SGA. I'm not a fan of that take, and I have to air that out because I just think it's blatantly incorrect. And I think it sends the wrong message. All right, coming up next, let's talk about softball. Let's do that, and we'll have Brian Christopherson join us at 11:20 here on Middays with Matt.
Good luck with that, Dan.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Infield to the right as well. Heron to the line, her 1-ball pitch. Ava swings and drives this one to center. Johnson going back. It's gone. It's gone. Huskers win. Huskers win. Huskers win. Huskers win 5-3 on the Kuzak 2-run home run.
Nate Rohr, what a call. Husker Sports Radio Network. Great job, Nate.
He had a couple of them last night.
Nate has been dedicated to that team,
Yeah.
and to that sport, and to the athletic department for so long. And that's what I really have appreciated about the Nebraska athletics and the Nebraska fandom, where it's like you had so many people who were rooting for Nebraska basketball this year, but who were they also rooting for? Kent. They wanted wanted Kent to experience, that NCAA tournament win and then the Sweet 16. And Nate is kind of the same way, where people who know Nate and who've talked to Nate, and I've been lucky enough where they have a great show. Well, Nate obviously does the producing with Jack Mitchell over at KLIN, but also hosts the Husker Hour with that was a show that I was previously on with Cole Stukenholtz, and so Nate hosts with Cole. It's a great show that they have, once 1 hour every weekend on Saturdays, and I've been lucky enough to get to know Nate a little bit just by hopping on the show and doing an interview with them.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Team clap for Nate Rohr.
Oh yeah, great job. And Nate is also a type of guy too, where as a student, I was announcing a lot of softball games, and he would just be in and around, the press box announcing those games as well. And while I was announcing on KRNU, you would, walk by Nate and talk to Nate, always very kind to me, always very nice to people. So congratulations to him. Congratulations on that call. And by the way, talking about how great Nate is and how nice of a dude, and it's awesome to see him on this run. Good announcer too. That was one hell of a call, man. Seriously. I mean, some high quality stuff there for Mr. Rohr. So congratulations to him, and congratulations to Nebraska softball. What a game yesterday, man.
Yeah.
Now look, obviously, admittingly, hey guys, name's Matt. Thanks for welcoming to the party. Appreciate it greatly.
We're parachuting in on this.
Now,
fully admitted on the front end.
I do want to say we're parachuting in a little bit earlier. We've been parachuting in slightly earlier. Slightly.
Had our eye on this.
We did. We saw this developing. By the way, we saw this developing. They were the number one team of the country when we started covering them. So let's I'm going to pull back a little bit. You don't have to.
Not like we really went out on a limb.
Yeah, no limbs went out on. They were by the time that we started talking about them pretty in depth, they were favorites to host a regional, right? If they didn't host a regional, something went terribly wrong. Hell, this team beat two number one teams in the first 2 weeks of the season. Okay. They have been progressing to this point, playing high quality softball all season long and playing some of the best teams in the country. Hell, they played Oklahoma State like earlier in the year. They played Texas Tech earlier in the year. They played Texas early in the year. And then obviously they got to go ahead and play UCLA, who ended up losing yesterday to Alabama, the team that Nebraska will play tomorrow. First pitch will be at 7. We will have the pregame here on 1620 The Zone at 6:30. Announcers on ESPN on the call for tomorrow's game will be Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, and Alyssa Lang on the sidelines, where they did a great job yesterday. I thought Kevin was absolutely phenomenal in his calls, and great analysis by Amanda Scarborough. Once again, cannot say enough about the overall presentation that ESPN is putting on for the Women's College World Series. You want to make people think that women's sports is a big deal? Treat it like a big deal. Broadcast it like a big deal. Produce it like it's a big deal. That's what they did yesterday, especially with Courtney Lyle and Danielle Lowry and Madison Shipman on the panel show, as well, the update show that they do in between games. Just high quality stuff and high quality softball yesterday from both the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. The defense by Arkansas was absolutely phenomenal throughout the entirety of the game, except for that one error that did come back to bite him in the butt a little bit. But thought that Samantha Bland, what a phenomenal job she did overall yesterday at third base. I will admittingly, when they scored that run in the what it would have been the 8th inning, and Reagan Johnson came around to score, the speeder center fielder for Arkansas. When she came around to score, I thought, man, that play is going to repeat over and over and over again of Samantha Bland just barely touching that ball and almost making that incredible play at third base. That's going to play over and over and over again until
felt like a groin kick.
It really did, until Hannah Kaur stepped up, solo shot. Absolutely a great story too of Hannah Kaur, who has been on that stage more than anyone else. Formerly from Oklahoma, a 3-time national champion. And, once again, ESPN did a great job of telling the story of, I think she only got 23 at-bats in all those different College World Series appearances that she had. And, oftentimes when we talk about college sports and we talk about the transfer portal, a little bit more often than not, we roll our eyes. We get upset about it. There are happenings and things that occur in the transfer portal that leave a sour taste in your mouth. I think it's a phenomenal description from unsportsmanlike conduct in that promo that we hear, that college sports in a way is kind of turned into having to Venmo your grandmother for a home cooked meal, right? I mean, there you just kind of have that, what used to be a very mom and pop shop, a more lovey-dovey relationship between fan and college sport has now kind of turned into a more financial and, company consumer type relationship. And so sometimes we definitely get that sour taste in our mouth when we talk about the transfer portal and all those other aspects. But I think Hannah Kaur is a great example of how great the transfer portal can be, of the benefit of the transfer portal.
That's the story I love about this team, is that they won the few of the team members. They won at Oklahoma. They won multiple titles.
Yeah.
And then they took their own autonomy and said, we can do whatever we want. Now we have our championships. We have our names etched in the history book.
Yeah.
We have the power to do whatever we want. Let's go home. Let's build something that everybody is clamoring for. Let's be the ones to get this over the finish line here at Nebraska. And that's the angle that I like about all of this. They chose to do something with their quote unquote power.
Well, it is power.
Yeah.
A million % is power. And players have never held more power in college sports than they do now. What's quite interesting to me is that when they talk about the game yesterday, Kevin Brown was on the call. And he goes, they're really playing, this Nebraska Cornhusker team, they are really playing for, and let's take a pause here. I thought he was going to say Rhonda Revelle, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was going to say they're really playing for their 34-year head coach. They're really playing for Rhonda. They just named the field. I thought he was going to go into that. And instead, he didn't say that. He said, this team, they're really playing for Jordy. They're playing for Jordy Fromm. They're playing for that pitcher. And it kind of made me take a step back a little bit, because you don't often necessarily hear, all the players are playing for a player. Typically they're playing for their coach, or they're playing for their team, or they're playing for, the name on the front, right? But I think the fact that it's been made very clear from the players to all of the people who asked them that they were playing for Jordy, it communicates to me how connected this team is, how they're not just playing for themselves, but they're playing for one another. And also, too, how much a profound impact Jordy has on the rest of this team. The fact that you are a player and all of your other teammates are playing for you, so you can live out this goal, so you can live out this dream, so you can bring glory back to your hometown. The fact that is happening made me really take a step back and say, whoa, this is just bigger than her being the National Player of the Year.
Right.
This is just bigger than her being great at swinging the bat and also being awesome at pitching. This is way above, hey, we're just a group of girls who want to win a bunch of games. No, they're playing, and like you mentioned, Josh, they're playing for something bigger than themselves. And the fact that you can be in some 18, 19, 21, 22, 23-year-old and take a step back and say, no, I don't want to play for myself. I want to play for something else. I don't want to play so I can have that moment of holding up the trophy. I'm going to play so people can see me hold up the trophy and say, I want to do that one day.
Yes.
The fact that you are playing for something that you know isn't going to last 30 minutes after you win a championship, but you're playing for something that could last years and years after that, it's a remarkable sign of maturity, a remarkable sign of just good coaching, great culture, and just how connected this team is. And so that small little moment from Kevin Brown, where he goes, all these girls, they're playing for Jordy. It's a couple of words, but it struck me. It struck me for sure.
She pushed all her chips in on the center of the table for me, for this program, for this state. She leveraged all of this so that we can give generational hope.
Literally
to a group of little girls.
Insane. It's an insane story.
How does that not motivate you to Matt, to finish the story?
There you go. It really is. And I loved Ava Kuzak's interview yesterday, man. It was great. It was awesome. Pure emotion, pure joy. First off, Ava Kuzak, one hell of a softball player, right? And what a big hit, what a big moment. But the way that she communicated everything, and the interviewer there too, of kind of leading her a little bit to water, of like, hey, you came here as a little kid, and you grew up to go into Husker games, you grew up going to College World Series. And then for her to say, I'm grateful to be a Cornhusker, like that was cool. Like that was a good moment. But then she was asked, well, how's it like playing with Jordy? And she's like, how can you not play for her? How can you not compete with her? How can you not match that energy? How could you not want to help contribute to that? I think it was pure emotion. It's what makes college sports, just what makes sports great, is seeing somebody who has worked their entire lives to get to that moment, to have that moment, to be in that moment, and then to achieve and succeed and do what they've dreamt of doing in that moment. That's what this thing is all about. That's what being an athlete is all about. That's what being a consumer of this stuff is all about. To see somebody go ahead and put their livelihood and dedicate their livelihood to being exactly where they were and then doing exactly what they wanted to do in that moment. That's why we consume this stuff, man. That's why we're fans. We love seeing those stories come to light, and we love seeing those accomplishments come to fruition. And it came to fruition yesterday for Ava Kuzak. It came to fruition yesterday for Jordy Ball and Bella Bacon and Samantha Bland and Alina Felix and Casey Hoffman and Rhonda Revelle and that entire staff. And Alexis Jensen is going to, be a big part of this run to the national championship as well. I'm excited to see what she can do on this big stage with a freshman third-team All-American. I mean, this is just it's a remarkable story. It's a remarkable story of players, athletes, understanding that they have an opportunity to do something special that goes above just having your name on a plaque, that goes above just having personal accomplishments, that goes above, holding up a trophy. They realize, to your point, Josh, we have an opportunity to leverage this power that we have to make an impact that can last longer than the moments that we'll be wearing a Husker jersey. It's a beautiful story. You can do it here. You don't have to go to Oklahoma. You don't have to go to, the talent is here. Yeah. We're just like volleyball years and years ago. No, you don't have to go to the West Coast. You don't have to go to the Southeast. It's right here in our own backyard. And, those girls are gathering together and going, we can do this. And another thing too, it's you have to give credit to Rhonda Revelle as well for having the infrastructure to take this on as well. Yeah. This has been bubbling, and they were like, let's let it pop. If Nebraska softball was a dumpster fire, right, for years and years and years, they very well could be a non-viable option, right? Yeah, for this all to occur. And so I think you have to give a ton of credit to Rhonda in terms of, not only has she taken and been able to acquire this talent that she's acquired, and turn it into wins and victories and have a group that is super connected playing for one another, but also you have to give her credit for being prepared for this opportunity to arise, right? Because it's one thing, we've talked about this through a variety of different teams, right, in pro sports, right? We talked about the Vegas Golden Knights, where the Las Vegas Golden Knights, not only were they good right away, but their decision-making put them in contention to go and trade for really, really good players. I remember being really pissed at the Chicago Bulls when some of these superstars would come up for a trade potential, because I'm like, not only are you not good and you aren't winning games, but you're not even good enough to put yourself in the running to trade for an Anthony Davis, to put yourself in a running to trade for James Harden or Kevin Durant or whomever it might be.
Go for it.
Nebraska softball, under the guidance of Rhonda Revelle, put themselves in a position in order to benefit off of Jordy Ball saying, I want to go back home to Nebraska. And it's one of those instances, too, where this could have gone a completely different way. Go back to 2019, man. Rhonda Revelle, her job was up in question, okay? Like, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. There was that Washington Post article that was not kind to how some former players felt about how Rhonda, was going about things. And, she got put on leave, I mean, she got put on the shelf for a little bit, and it was up in the air of whether or not she was going to be the head coach of Nebraska softball. And you come out of that, and now a couple of years later, 7 years later, you're in this position where you're playing for the College World Series, and you got very smart people, smarter than us when it comes to this sport, who look at them as not just somebody, they ain't going, and they already proved it yesterday, but they're not looking at it as a team like, oh, nice story, 2 in the queue. No.
And just like a couple months ago with the basketball team, like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, I'm a huge Nebraska softball fan, but I'm ecstatic for the people that have sat at Bowlin for decades, hoping that they had a night like last night.
Yeah.
And I'm over the moon for those fans. I enjoyed watching it. I was rooting for Nebraska, obviously. I want them to do well, but I'm not going to sit here like I'm heavily invested in it.
Isn't that the beautiful thing about Nebraska athletics in a way where it's like everyone kind of roots for football, right? And then everybody's got their second sport that they're really locked in on. Or in some cases, and maybe I'm being rude here, some people, their first sport is volleyball. Their first sport is basketball. Their first sport is softball. And then the second,
it's become that over the last 20 years.
It really has. And then, oh, well, we have to root for football. We have to pay attention to football. Softball, man, I couldn't agree with you more, Josh. It's like there are people, and I was there, when it was Courtney Wallace and Olivia Farrell and, Abby Squire was, and I think Abby did play with Jordy too, but before Jordy, I was announcing softball games before Jordy Ball came, Jordy Fromm. There were still people showing up to games. There's still people there who were cheering for the softball team. There was still an investment. There was still love. Like, it wasn't a decrepit, fan base or anything like that. There have been diehard softball fans, but now to see it elevated to this level, and to be put on the stage that it's put, and we'll continue to ask the question, is this just a brief era of Nebraska softball? Is this just hey, Jordy came for 3 years and, they almost went to one College World Series and then they went to a second College World Series and they did what they did? Or is this the spark to the flame? Is Jordy Fromm the spark that makes Nebraska softball, a consistent contender and a consistent power? And is she the spark that gets more investment, right, in terms of financials or in terms of just everything when it comes to Nebraska softball? Is this the beginning of the golden era of Nebraska softball, or is this more of a flash in the pan? We won't know for years to come. I'll tell you this, feels like more of the former than it does the latter, especially considering the fact that Nebraska athletics has invested heavily into women's sports for quite a while. And I'm going to tell you right now, these ratings are going to come out and they're going to tell you this is the most watched women's softball NCAA tournament of all time. It's most watched regionals ever, most watched super regionals ever, most
what
watched
did Sydney
final.
say yesterday? Up 46% the supers were?
Women's sports is growing. It is spreading like wildfire. The investment, not only just from, coaches and athletes and parents and all that type of stuff, but I can't say enough about the ESPN broadcast, man. When you treat a product like you give a damn about it, when you treat a product like it matters more than anything to you, the viewer is going to treat that product with the same amount of respect. Okay? If you don't show respect to your product, why should I show respect to the product? Right? Big Ten and baseball. Right? That's the best example. It's the best example. It's where, oh yeah, we're just throwing this on BTN Plus and we're throwing this here and we rather broadcast this here. All right, well, if you're not putting baseball on the Big Ten network and you're not investing heavily into baseball, why am I going to heavily invest in baseball? When ESPN puts that investment into softball and broadcasts college softball the way they have been, to me, as the consumer, as the viewer, it gets my attention. I go, okay, cool. I want to hear these stories. I want to hear about Ronda Ravel. I want to hear about Reagan Johnson, the center fielder for Arkansas. I want to hear about Ava Kuzak. I want to hear about the former Arkansas Razorbacks that are on Nebraska's roster. I want to hear about that stuff. It's awesome stuff overall. And bro, I'm fired up to watch tomorrow's game.
Oh yeah,
I'm fired up to watch Alabama versus
what a
Nebraska.
night you could have tomorrow, assuming everybody plays today in the Lincoln Regional and Nebraska beats South Dakota State tonight. You could have Nebraska baseball and Nebraska softball playing at the same time in the postseason. Like,
who are you picking? Who are you watching? I'm not going to do that.
Tweet us your two-screen experience tomorrow.
You know what? We are
and Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals going on at that same time.
We are in a society where it's like if you don't have multiple TVs, unfortunately, you're behind the eight ball. It seems like everybody's got more than one.
I believe you could quad box it on YouTube.
Dude,
I believe the
YouTube TV and the quad box.
I believe Nebraska South Dakota State is like the only game of the regional that is not on ESPN proper.
Yeah. Actually, good point. Now I think there's one game that's going to be on ESPN 1. Is that what we're calling it now? Just ESPN 1.
I mean, that's the easiest way to
really
it, right?
There's like what did Charles Barkley said? You're not going to get me on ESPN 1, ESPN 2, ESPN U, ESPN Deportes.
No, I was wrong. Wrong. Those are ESPN Plus games.
It's okay to be
throughout
wrong
the weekend. Yeah,
we get over it. All right, coming up next, a man who's very rarely wrong, if ever wrong. Brian Christopherson of Huskers 24/7 joins us here on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
1:30 on Friday. That means, as always, we bring in our man, Brian Christopherson from Huskers 24/7. Brian, you're kind of in the lull of things a little bit right now. How is summer treating you?
It's good. I went on a trip with my wife last week, and so
Good man.
tried to recharge the battery a little bit. We didn't annoy each other too much, which is always an accomplishment when you're married and you're in very close proximity on vacation settings for a week. So that was positive. Baseball and softball, we got that rolling, and that's kind of that's a beautiful bridge, into what will be a big June recruiting month too. So, last night I was like everybody else, captivated by that 10-inning classic and what Rhonda's team did, and so I'm still kind of on a high from that.
Have you ever seen, and you're a perfect person to ask this question because you've just been in and around this stuff basically your whole life. Have you seen a Nebraska athletic season that had this just overwhelming, wide-ranging success in your time watching Nebraska?
Offhand, it's hard to remember one that specifically rivals it. There were some years, so I'm in my mid-40s now, and there were some times when I was in college and such, and probably like Bill Byrne athletic director years when Nebraska was pretty competitive in the Directors Cup standings, and they were very formidable in swimming and had Olympians in that and stuff. So there have been years that I'm sure if someone really took a deep dive into the history would say all around have been close to this, but not recently. Nothing comes to mind. And it's, I know there's sort of this anxiousness about football and, can they push that thing up the hill? But in the meantime, you'd have to say, we've never had a March or through May like this that I remember. Obviously we never had basketball do what they did on the men's side. And then, softball, this I think is going to go down as the greatest Husker team there's been, just like Nebraska men's basketball was, and we'll see what baseball can get done now. So it has been a very good year overall for Husker athletics, and people should not lose sight of that in those moments when we start talking about what's the D-line depth going to be like this fall,
Sure. I mean, do you think that, it's just the investment overall in softball, right? You see all the Bowling boys are there, all those fans are there, make the trek to Oklahoma State. Then you saw, Oklahoma City has become kind of like the place for Nebraska fans to go and take over. And the Paycom Center will always have those big memories because of the first round and the second round of the NCAA tournament. I maybe it's a low-hanging fruit question, but I'd love to get your insight. Do you think that just kind of the lack of success for the football team has caused these other sports to garner a little bit more attention and investment from fans who maybe back in 2005, 2010, 2015 may not have been as invested?
I don't really think it has anything to do with football. Actually.
Okay.
I just think they've earned it. I feel like Nebraska, and I would say this about football too. There's always this sort of topic about has it gotten stale with Husker fans and all that, and I understand that, but these other sports show you that if you get hot and you're proving it on the field, this is a fan base, this is a community, it from doing sports radio here, that is as loves sports and is as dialed into it as about anywhere. And that goes not just with local teams, but the way the College World Series is supported, or if they have the Olympic swim trials here, whatever you want to put out there, everybody in Omaha, Nebraska kind of gets behind something that's where they're this deserves it. They're putting out the effort and the results. And I just think all those programs on their own merit have had the level of success that people say, yeah, I'm all in on that. They're, it's an attractive product, and why wouldn't I pay attention to that? And so that's the same thing can be true for Husker football. I realize there's some people who feel like it's sort of been the same old story for a while, and that's fair. But if as well as I do, Matt, if they start 5-0,
yeah, 1,000,000%.
And Indiana's rolling in here for a big game. I mean, everybody will be amped up for it and all that. So, but what softball has done, just as a recent example, I just think that's their own success that's created that. And Jordy, I mean, is amazing. Like, we're watching a legendary college softball player right in front of us. And the way she battled through that game, I don't even know if it was her best stuff, but she fought through it for 130 plus pitches. And when you're seeing someone who's like one of the best to ever do it in her category, and she's wearing the uniform of the team you follow, you'd be silly to pay full attention. And then so people kind of get drawn in by that, and then they're like, oh, Samantha Bland is really great, and Hannah Coor, and all these players, like, and obviously
1,000,000%.
Ava with the home run. So I think softball, back to that, like last night, if anybody who doesn't watch it routinely, if they watch it on their TV set, they're like, this is a fast-moving game that is appealing to the eye, and it's going to make you want to come back and watch it again.
Yeah, and I think ESPN too added to that with just I think how they just had a really good broadcast, and they just had a really good performance in terms of how they presented that product. But above all else, you're right. I mean, when sometimes I think we try and analyze and break things down, whether cross sports, whether it be basketball, football, baseball, volleyball, but sometimes your superstars got to be superstars, right? Your superstars just have to play well. They just have to be what you think that they are, and that's exactly what Jordy was and has been, and a legendary career at that. You mentioned four-time first-team All-American and the softball player of the year from multiple different publications. So incredible stuff. And you're right, it's kind of the osmosis of you go and you tune in, you try and watch Jordy, but then you find out, it's not just Jordy, is leading them to be one of the best teams in the country. There's a lot of other moving parts there and a lot of really great players they have. Let's switch over to football here real quickly. Maybe this is kind of a temperature gauge thing from the fans, or maybe just your own personal opinion, but Trey Taylor going to play in the Elite 11 competition, and there's a big story today about he's chasing that fifth star. He wants that elusive fifth star. He wants to be a 5-star quarterback. Do you think that matters to fans? Do you think that matters to other people? Do you think it matters to recruits of whether or not Trey ends up being a 5-star? Is that something that we should put stock in, or is this just kind of a kid trying to accomplish his own goal?
I don't mind if people put stock in that. I mean, I think he is the most polished high school quarterback that has been committed in Nebraska since I've been covering it, and it's not close. And this is not like to knock Dylan Raiola. I understand the juice around Raiola when he committed and signed and all that was intense, as we all remember. But I don't think Dylan at that point was as far along as a QB as Trey Taylor is. And I've done a lot of stories on Trey now, and you go back and look at his background, and I mean, this is the type of kid who was like sitting in meeting rooms with guys who are now playing in the NFL or high level college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Trey was like in 4th grade, and he's drawing stuff up on the grease board, like showing them a thing or something. And so he's kind of has that mind. And so I do think if he goes and balls out this weekend, I know, like, I can't speak for all the recruiting services, but I know the 24/7 Sports guys, particularly Tom Loy and Andrew Ivins, who are out there, think the world of Trey. They did a draft, as some people saw, where there's 20 quarterbacks competing, including Braylon Warren, by the way, from Omaha West Side. So wish Braylon all the best with his weekend.
Great shout out.
But they drafted the 20 guys, like who's going to fare the best. And both of them wanted to pick, Tom did pick Trey as number 1, but Ivins wanted him. So that's what they think of him. So if he goes and wins overall MVP, that's a story. Like, I mean, you can say it's just an off-season fluff thing, but go look at the list of guys who have been like MVPs of that camp, and it's like the who's who of who we're watching like on Sundays, you know. And so it is a pretty good indicator usually if you do really well there that you're going to be a name that matters quite a bit in college football and the pro levels.
Okay, so I'm looking through here. I got a list of all the Elite 11 MVPs since 2000 or since 1999. Let's go through this list together. 2023, Julian Sayin, not bad, pretty good quarterback. 2022, Jackson Arnold, not great. 2021, Cade Klubnik ended up getting drafted. Had a pretty good career.
Arnold is in the news, though. Jackson Arnold is in the news.
He is in the news. He is in the news. He's still playing.
Go on.
2020, Caleb Williams. 2019, CJ Stroud. 2018 was Spencer Rattler. 2017 was Justin Fields. 2016 was Tua Tagovailoa. And then 2015 was Shea Patterson. So, I mean, pretty damn good list, man. Tua was a first-round pick. Justin Fields was a first-round pick. Rattler was a mid-round pick. CJ Stroud, he went 2, right? Caleb went number 1 overall. Cade Klubnik got drafted. I mean, it's a pretty damn good list there.
Yeah, and I get like people listening will like, well, you just named off 8 to 10 guys, and some of them aren't like stars right now in the league. But I mean, the point being, like, all those guys,
great college football players.
Yeah, they're really good in college level, or enough so that like they're getting their crack at it in the NFL. And so, to just sum it up, if you do well there, you're one of the top 11. You generally are a guy who's going to at some point be starting a game in the NFL and have a chance, have your chance to show what you can do at the highest level of football.
Absolutely. And, quite the wild stat of, did you see this, at the last 11 Elite 11 quarterbacks in Nebraska, none of them started and finished their career at Nebraska? Did you
What's
hear
that?
So the Nebraska's had 11 Elite 11 quarterbacks, and none of them have started and finished their career at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be interesting. I mean, if you go back a ways in the Elite 11, you would get a higher percentage of guys who did stay at one school, but it'll be interesting, like, as you go from like basically 2021 and beyond, like how many of these QBs are at multiple schools. I would bet is going to be the majority, but yeah, I mean, that's something that you'd love to see change, obviously, with Trey and keeping him on board. And, one of the better things you can say about Trey too is, it's thought he's talented around here, but I mean, Ohio State and other, major programs, for those who need that sort of validation, like on who the Huskers are going after, they want him. Like they're trying to get him. And Trey seems pretty loyal to Nebraska, has a great quote in our latest intel with the 24/7 Sports guys about his connection with Rule and Glenn Thomas. And so I think Nebraska is still exactly where they want with that relationship. But it's something where nowadays, can you get a guy here and then can you keep him? That's going to be something not only Nebraska has to deal with, but everywhere, I think, with these top guys.
I mean, it's almost getting to the point where you just assume you have 2 years and then you figure it out from there, right? I mean, I don't think in this era anymore you can really assume you're going to have a guy for 4 years. It seems like that's more of a rarity than a formality, and that's a very weird place to be in when you've been a fan of college sports for very long, but it's the new reality of currently where the landscape is. So we appreciate you coming on and talking to us as always, Brian. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next week, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Brian Christopherson of Huskers 24/7. Coming up next, we do the Odd News with Josh Oddson here on the 1620 Zone Radio Network.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
So it's kind of hot in the studio right now, so I took off my sweater to reveal my Daniel Bryan, also known as a white T-shirt. I now look like I'm like the guitarist in the Drew Phillips band. You know, I look like I'm about to play a country concert at the Rococo Theater later tonight.
Yes.
I have a mustache for everybody listening on the radio. We haven't had too many comments on said mustache other than people like it.
People like it. Okay.
I tried doing this last year and it went terribly. It went awfully.
I believe what Schaefer believes, that this maximizes your Chicago bona fides. Like,
I just look like a city jackass.
You
is really
look like
you're
Chicago.
I look like that. I did graduate from Michigan and I really enjoy an IPA and I've had a steady girlfriend for 3 years, but I haven't bought a ring yet. That's just the best. That's what Chicago is all about. Yeah, I work at Deloitte, but you know, KPMG actually gave me a pretty good offer, but it's all the way up in Milwaukee. I don't know if I want to move out there. But Alyssa goes, I texted Odson privately about the stash. I thought you were a cop. I kind of, it's more firefighter mustache, in my opinion, than cop mustache.
I don't know about that.
Oh, well, what are you trying to say?
I don't know the difference.
You don't, well, there's definitely a difference between cop mustache and firefighter mustache. I think the firefighter mustaches are a little bit longer.
Okay.
Cop mustaches are a little shorter.
Okay.
Let's get to the odd news, Josh. Sure. What do we have?
We go to the Reds game last night.
Oh, were there ass cracks or did somebody drop their shorts or something?
I mean, everybody has an ass crack.
Okay, but I meant like the Rays game earlier in the year with the Cubs. Remember that? Remember that happening? How can you forget that? That was a hallmark moment in this year is Major League Baseball, which, by the way, ball's coming up at 1:20 today.
The New York Mets were hosting the Reds this week and decided to honor the opponent. You know, like a lot of ballparks do, by, hey, let's have a food from the opposing city that is visiting us. Skyline chili egg roll.
God no.
Citi
God
Field.
no. God no. Absolutely not. Veto.
The Reds.
Veto.
The Reds broadcasters tried it on air.
And they threw up.
And it did not go well.
Veto.
I can't imagine this is true. Skyline. Who's this?
No.
Jim Day said, first of all, it's very greasy. He bit it and went,
Ugh.
It's not a ringing endorsement, replied play-by-play announcer John Sadak, I believe.
Mona Lisa veto there.
Yeah.
I am absolutely not. No. By the way, putting chili in an egg roll. Like, we gotta look, KYP, know your personnel, right? You can't put soupy things in an egg roll. They got to have a little bit more foundation, you know, especially because Skyline chili is a more soupier chili, correct? It's more soupy.
I think so.
I think it's a thinner chili. That's disgusting.
This is the lowest point of my career, and I've had some
oh
low
my
ones.
God,
Day said,
that is so bad.
What do the kids say? Mid? This is below mid. Taking one for the team. You guys are killing me.
My goodness. He absolutely buried the Skylight chili egg roll. Good for him. All right, second story.
Second story. We'll do this one quick so we can get to the third one. A woman wins free Wendy's burgers for a year after a costume contest victory. She dressed up like Wendy with the red hair, the pigtails, all that, to score a year's worth of free Dave's singles.
Yeah.
20 contestants took the stage at New York City's Seaport Square, and this nice young lady won. Her name, not important.
Pound for pound, best single cheeseburger out there in fast food right now. Go.
I like the vegetables on the Wendy's burger. Like, it's good lettuce, it's good pickle.
It's good. It's a good
onion.
tomato.
Yeah,
it's a good tomato they got on there, without a doubt. I'd probably go Dave Single too. I'd probably say pound for pound, best single cheeseburger. I'd probably go Dave Single.
Yeah.
I think you got to give a little bit of love. Now, I haven't had In-N-Out, and I wasn't a big fan of Whataburger. I'm not out.
I find them
Whataburger,
both
but-
to be something that if they're not here, so I can't get them, and that makes them better.
Yeah.
Like a Yingling.
I'm a day. Well, Yingling Light might be better than Yingling straight up.
Okay.
They're it's like Yingling Flight. Is
I've
what
had the
it's called.
Flight. Yeah.
It's a lighter Yingling. It's better in my opinion. Everyone was freaking out about Yingling, like kind of how they freak out about Spotted Cow. Spotted Cow's better than Yingling. I was never a Yingling guy. I like this new light one. All right, our final story.
Citation dismissed in after deputy accuses driver of holding her phone while driving. This is a pretty viral video. Months after a Florida woman was pulled over and accused of using her phone with her right hand, she put up her right hand only to show that she does not have a right hand.
Oh, I saw this. What a moment. God, it's so good.
And she just the way she dismisses the officer of, no, you are mistaken. I was not using my phone with my right hand. And the officer's like, well, okay, how are you so sure? And she holds up
so good
the right arm that does not have a hand on it. And the officer, she says, so do you just want to call this a day? Hand to God was one of the phrases that she, like, the officer didn't believe her. She's like, you weren't using your phone with your right hand? And she goes, hand to God.
Literally. That's who's got it.
Yeah.
I don't. That was great. I was laughing my ass off when I saw
She
that.
was given a $116 traffic ticket for texting while driving. She fought it in court because obviously, and won.
Okay, couple of things here. After my takes on the Skyline chili and an egg roll, I get a text from Severe.
Oh.
Didn't you put like some sort of clam chowder inside some strange thing? First off,
a burrito. It was
chowder
a burrito.
is thicker than chili, and I put it in a chimichanga, different casing. Ghost Dog text, hey, McDingling, did you forget you were going to put a clam chowder in a chimichanga?
That's
okay,
right.
It's different than an egg roll. Chimichangas and egg rolls are not the same thing. Be more open-minded. No, they're not. Don't shake your head. They're different cultures. They're different things.
Yes, but
chimichangas and egg rolls. This is not 20. 29 is not 30, and a chimichanga and an egg roll.
It's all liquid encased in a
Yeah,
wrap
but
of some
chowder.
kind.
It's a chowder. It's different. It's got potatoes. Okay, it's got
Chili has
clam.
meat and
all right, let's take a
beans.
break and let's Let's take a break and let's really take a deep breath. And then I want to defend myself. And then we'll talk about Texas here on Middays with Matt. All right, a lot of people want to get in on this chimichanga versus egg roll debate. I'm getting multiple text messages from people in the medium, people out of the medium. By the way, I think a lot of these people are connected to each other, and I don't think they all know that they're texting me the same time about what's going on. But before we get into that conversation, we have to have this conversation. We don't have to have this conversation. We get to have this conversation, a privileged conversation with one of the best writers in the game, Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, if I told you could have a New England clam chowder chimichanga, you would say what to that?
I would channel the line from Jurassic Park that says, just because we could, it doesn't mean that we should. So I think we need to step back and assess the awesome power that we're wielding and see if it's really for the greater good of humanity or if we're just doing it because we can.
I mean, a New England clam chowder chimichanga ain't gonna kill anybody. I mean, it ain't gonna cause mass havoc. All right, it just might taste a little weird.
That's true. I love New England clam chowder for what it's worth.
Okay,
like, give me a bowl of that on the East Coast. Like that's one of the first things I'm gonna
red or
out. But in
red or white
chimichanga form,
ready
go white.
White. Yeah, attaboy.
But you know, what does that look like in chimichanga form? And is that like something you microwave? If that's the case, I'm gonna have you eat it first, and I'll see what happens to you.
To me, it would be almost like biscuits and gravy, but like the gravy's inside the biscuit. That's how I view it. I think it tastes delicious. That's just one man's opinion. Let's get your opinion on things and your facts on things. Let's break down the regional. I mean, everyone's calling this thing the region of death. Everybody's saying that Nebraska got the toughest draw. You had a great article talking about how these two teams, they both hit the ball out of the park. You know, sometimes Haymarket Park can turn into tiny baby ballpark, but at the same time, Nebraska's got, Carson Yassick going today, and you have some questions in terms of the Arizona State rotation. Just kind of give me the full rundown in a way. Give me the whole, maybe whether it be appetizers or whether it be the full entree. How do you see this region breaking out?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely objectively one of the more difficult regionals. I mean, Ole Miss was on the hosting bubble until he got upset by Missouri early in the SEC tournament last week. Arizona State was widely projected to be a fringe 2 seed, and they both moved down a level and end up in Lincoln. So, I mean, that's part of it. I think the twist is that Nebraska starts with South Dakota State, which might be the weakest team in the entire 64-team field, just based on a lot of things, pitching depth, offensive potency, these different things. And they probably ended up in Lincoln because it was cost effective to drive down a few hours from the campus there. So I think Nebraska gets the benefit that comes with a host team. With the 4 seed, I think it gets the benefit in playing the early game, especially on a day like today when weather delays could become a factor, especially later on. Certainly they have the benefit because they just lost once at home all year and the fan support that comes with that. So I do still think it's worth having that home advantage. Like, this is why we've talked for a couple of months about will they host, won't they host? Like, it's for the circumstances that come with today. But I think Ole Miss is probably a popular 2 seed to come out of the Lincoln Regional Advance. You look at their pitching. To me, that's a staff that could pitch in College World Series games in a few weeks. Like, they're legitimately a 3-man rotation of guys that are going to be pro prospects real soon. They have bullpen depth. Their closer is really good. So, like, that's a team that even if Arizona State beats them tonight, I could see coming back just because they do have the depth of arms to do it. Arizona State, I think if you're the Sun Devils, you got to win tonight when you have your ace on the mound and Cole Carlone, big junior lefty, and their depth behind him is a little bit murky, and they have some offense for sure. They have some bats at the top. It's kind of a top-heavy lineup, I would say. Like, you look at their top 5 guys or so, that's where they do most of their damage, and you can kind of navigate through the bottom part of that order a little bit. So, everybody, just like any regional, has their weaknesses and their strengths. I think Nebraska stands out defensively, for one. Like, I think they're the strongest defensive group in this field, and I think offensively they have the balance maybe that some of those other teams don't, where Nebraska is not hitting 100 home runs this year, but they can lay down a bunt and they can execute a hit and run, and they can certainly work counts and walks and get into opponents' bullpens. So we'll see which of those strengths end up playing out over the course of this weekend. But I think ultimately you're at home, you're going to be playing good competition, so you'll have to be playing well, and we'll see if Nebraska's up for it.
Who's the X factor for Nebraska in this regional? Is it one of the bats? Is it one of the longtime starters? Is it one of the transfers? Is it one of the arms? Is it Blackowitz or Katsky, or whether it be, the guy who's going to be pitching tonight, Carson Yassa? Who's your X factor?
I think you're probably going to need an arm to do something pretty cool that maybe it hasn't done a ton of this year.
Sure.
Like you're going to expect Yassa to do his thing tonight against South Dakota State. I would expect Horn, maybe Horn or Blackowitz on Saturday, depending on how things go. And then, but like, there's going to come a point where Cooper Katsky is going to have some big innings to eat up, or Tucker Timmerman. They're going to need him to cover, the 5th through the 7th innings or something like that. Jalen Worley maybe comes in a matchup. So I guess there's not one player, but it just feels like out of that group, kind of that second group of arms, somebody's going to have to come up, because you're probably, unless things go great for Nebraska, and maybe they do, maybe they go 3-0 this weekend, but if they don't, if they have to fight back or play a second regional final or something, you're going to need somebody else to do it. And so they've shown it at times, but can they show it at home in a do or die kind of situation? Like, that's kind of the area of this team that's probably been the least established to this point, is whose arm, like 5 through 8 on this team. Who do they trust the most? I think if a couple of those guys step up, that could be the difference in how Nebraska does this weekend.
I'm not going to let you pick Arkansas, but is there another team that you think is the most dangerous that's not hosting a regional in this entire NCAA field? Is there, just pick any team from any regional that's not hosting that you think can make a legitimate run to Omaha?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few. I think Coastal Carolina is interesting to me as a 2. They were hurt a lot of the year, and so they kind of fell off the national radar, especially in the rotation. They kind of had to piece it together for a few weekends, and I think they're mostly good to go at this point. They have the experience. They have the coaching staff to do it. I think I'm trying to remember which regional they're in. I think it's right toward the middle nationally, but like, that's a team I could see making a run. I'd also look at a team like Tennessee, which is going to North Carolina, and the Heels are, what are they, the 5th national seed, but they're kind of without a single star, and they're kind of good at a lot of things, but not great at any one thing. I think the Vols, just with their ability to hit home runs, with their pitchers that consistently are throwing mid to upper 90s, like, that's another team to me that has the talent that could just sort of pop over these next couple of weeks. It's a program that's been there, done that recently. North Carolina's kind of had trouble getting out of their own regional in recent years. I think the Vols could be this year's, like, quote unquote disrespected SEC team that finds a way to get to Omaha.
Let's talk. How big of a deal is this hosting a regional for Will Bolt? Because it's always been interesting to me, Evan Bland, that Will Bolt, he's had undeniable success as the head coach of Nebraska Baseball with, they've won back-to-back NCAA or back-to-back Big Ten tournament titles. They've been to back-to-back NCAA now 3 straight times, right? Going to the NCAA tournament. And yet, despite having that success and another NCAA tournament bid a couple of years before that, right? Despite having all that success, he still has been a coach that has gotten his fair share of criticism in terms of handling, whether it be the bullpen or the lineup or the bolt ball or red shirts or whatever it might be. But he always had this goal. He always said the goal was to host an NCAA regional. And there were times where people kind of looked at him sideways and said, really? Like, this is what you want to accomplish? I mean, you're not really close enough to doing that yet. And now he accomplished the goal he had. The goal he had was host a regional. Nebraska's hosting a regional today. How big of a deal is this for Coach Bolt?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Hearing you lay it out, it kind of reminds me a little bit of how people talk about football when it's like, well, the CFP is the goal, or playing on the level of Ohio State or Michigan's the goal. And there's kind of like, okay, well, that's good, but how realistic is it? I feel like there was some of those vibes.
Yeah.
Because to host, I mean, you're talking one of 16 teams to do it out of 300 plus Division I programs. Like you're a top 5%er at that point. It's really hard to do. They got close in 21. Maybe they would have done it without the league-only schedule. They kind of got close in 24. But like their whole thing has always been, it's about these 5-game swings that make the difference between hosting and not, or being in the tournament or not. And they won most of those coin flip games this year. And so here they are in the spot. What I wrote today was like, yeah, you want to win this regional and get out past this weekend for the first time since 2005. And there's pressure, I guess, and anxiety. But I think to me, the overriding vibe of this weekend is like, this is a showcase event. Like this is the chance to show the country what Nebraska baseball is all about, and sort of showcase the program in the way that men's basketball did in March, and the way that Nebraska softball did last night and for the last couple of weeks. And so you think back to 2008, like not even every game was televised. Social media wasn't really a thing at that point. And so this is Nebraska dusting off the welcome mat and sprucing up the old homestead and saying, come on in. Let me show you what we've got going on here. And so obviously it would be a disappointment if they don't advance, but I think part of the reality is roughly a third of regional hosts don't advance every year. So it's possible. But I think just the fact that they showed that they could do this again and beat out teams like Ole Miss or Arizona State and some of these other teams that are having to travel, like that shows maybe where this program could go. And they've got the clubhouse renovation coming, and they're working toward fully scholarshiping their roster, which they're not currently at yet, but they're going to in a couple of years. So it's I think an exciting time. It's a pride sort of weekend for the program, and maybe kind of like it was in the 2000s, it could be a taking off point for some bigger things still to come.
When are you heading down to the park?
Probably when I'm done chatting with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna head down and see what kind of crowds are showing up. And Will Bolt talked about back when he was playing, crowds lining up over the pedestrian bridge, waiting to get in center field. And I just full disclosure, I love regional weekend. I think whether Nebraska's home or away, I love covering the event. I love the format, 4 teams, the gamesmanship, the pressure that comes with postseason baseball. Like I think it's going to be a ton of fun.
Well, and the strategy,
weekend.
Right? I mean, there was a lot of conversation about whether or not Yassa should be the guy starting today. And I kind of loved, what did you think of what Bolt said about him and Childress? I love that he put 10 toes down and said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the coach. I'm the coach for a reason. This is what I do. Here's how we're handling it. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I thought his reasons were solid. To say that, like, this is a guy who's going to set the tone for the weekend, and hey, our guys feed off of emotion and enthusiasm and each other's successes, like, that to me sounds like a coach who knows his team and knows that, like, this is how you get them to respond and get them in the right headspace and get them rolling in front of the home crowd. I think in a vacuum, if it were just me, I would have looked really hard at going with Horn or Blackowitz or somebody else, not because you're disrespecting South Dakota State or whatever, but because this format is about the key is starting 2-0. If you go 1-1 in either, and that loss comes Friday or Saturday, it doesn't matter. Either way, then you have to play 2 games Sunday and win again on Monday to advance. And so, like, the way I looked at it was what's not just the best way for Nebraska to win on Friday and get off to a good start, but what's the best strategy to go 2-0 so you actually get that game of wiggle room later on in the weekend. And so I kind of felt like, hey, save Yassa. If you can't beat South Dakota State with your number 2 or 3, then your chances of getting out of the regional probably aren't great anyway. But I mean, you got to respect Bolt and Childress for saying, hey, this is how we do it. This is how it's worked for us in the past. This is how our team is wired. These are the coaches that steered the ship to this point, and they feel pretty convicted. So we'll see how it shakes out, and certainly it gives them a great chance to get off on the right foot tonight.
Well, before you go 3-0, you got to go 1-0.
That's
I
true.
mean, it's one of those things where it's, I'm watching the East Carolina Tennessee game right now, right? And Tennessee is the is the host of this regional. They're tied 1-1 through 5, right? So it's one of those things where you can say what you want about, oh, they're a mid-major school, they're not a power school. Well, you know what? South Dakota State, not a lot of people gave them a big chance to go ahead and beat Oral Roberts at the Summit League Conference Tournament Championship, and they did that. And so, yeah, you're right. They're probably the weakest amongst all of the seeds in the field when you look at holistically from what they did this season. And I think it's a great observation from you. I kind of thought the same thing, that they probably got this regional so they could take the bus down here a little bit easier compared to, having to go to California or having to go to, the East Coast or wherever it might be. But they're hot. This is a hot team. This is a team that had to get hot in order to be here. So I imagine too, Coach Bold and Coach Childress probably took that in stride as well.
Yeah, I think so. Like, they backed up what they said all week, which was, we're going to respect our opponent. Yeah, we play South Dakota State in the midweek once or twice a year, but this isn't a midweek, and we're not going to treat it that way. And to their credit, like, that's how they're playing this thing, is straight up. And you're right. Like, you see it in college baseball. Like, I think I will be curious to see how the tournament plays out this year, but my sense is you're going to see a little bit more parity again, kind of like you did last year, because of the transfer portal. And certainly sometimes that means guys move up and the rich get richer. But you saw a lot of examples, and like, this was Murray State last year, of guys who started at SEC programs or power locales, and they didn't maybe get the playing time that they wanted, or maybe they got a little bit of a better scholarship or NIL offer somewhere else. And so they go and they develop and they break out somewhere else. Like in baseball, sometimes you have late bloomers as well. So like, South Dakota State has guys like that. They have guys who played in bigger programs or were in junior college, and so like, they could do it. Everyone has ability and talent now. And so I think Nebraska probably has a healthy respect for what South Dakota can do, which incidentally beat Nebraska in 23 and 24 in Lincoln. And so they're not leaving anything to chance. They're going to put their best foot forward and treat this weekend in terms of their rotation order the same way they have every weekend. And it's worked out pretty well for them to this point.
Well, also too, Evan Bland, it is baseball. I mean, it just random crap happens, man. And just the sport pans out the way that it pans out, which is why, everyone freaks out about basketball, the not having a Cinderella, not having the 13 or 14 or 15 seed make a run. I just think, because of the nature of the sport, you're never going to have to worry about that in baseball, where, pretty consistently over the last couple of years, we have gotten the Murray States and the Oral Roberts and kind of the mid-major teams that make those long runs. So very interesting to see everything that pans out. Merry Christmas. I'm happy that you're very excited for this weekend. And I'm happy for you too, that you don't got to travel really to go to a regional. You just get to pull the car out of the parking lot, take a nice little stroll over to Haymarket Park, and see all the people who are already probably hanging and banging right now, drinking some Busch Light outside of the park.
That's right. It's going to be fun. We'll maybe see if there's an attendance record to break today too. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. We'll keep our eyes on that. Thank you so much, Evan. We will, if Nebraska gets to the Super Regional, we will definitely be in contact with you. So we appreciate you greatly.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Talk to you
Good
soon.
talking with you.
Good talking to you as always. Evan Bland, the Omaha World Herald.
To go along with that conversation of respecting your opponent and anything can happen in baseball, we go to the Auburn Regional.
Let's go. That is the regional that Nebraska or any of the teams who win this regional, they would end up playing them, right?
I'm
pretty sure that is the case, but continue. I'm sorry.
Auburn, a minus 2,100 favorite after 1/2 inning, trails Milwaukee, a team that is 6 games below 500, 4-0.
Let's go, Milwaukee.
So, I mean, long way to go. Auburn hasn't even had an at-bat yet, but
UW-N, baby.
Yeah.
What are the UW-N?
The Panthers?
They're the Panthers. I didn't know if they were the Panthers or the Cougars.
Yeah.
I forget. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee was that U.S. Bank, where my dad worked, they hired a lot of people out of UW-N. And so there was a lot of people I grew up around, rather, who went to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. My cousin Dan went to the UW-N.
There you go. And you are correct. The winner of the Lincoln Regional plays the winner of the Auburn Regional.
Look, baseball Matt. Look at me.
Look at you.
Incredible.
So
I
proud.
do want to say, Schaefer is right. Out of all of the sports, baseball definitely the lowest on the totem pole. But I was a little offended when he goes, "You knew who Alex Gordon was?" Yes, I knew who. I'm not an expert, but I'm not inept either. I'm like I'm not even a novice on baseball. It's just like I'm not like you sickos. We have a baseball station, by the way. You love baseball more than anything. Happer loves baseball. Schaefer loves baseball. Bishop, I mean, that's his baby boy. I mean, it's incredible. It's me and Peterson who are like Peterson's just a football junkie. He's
some would say pervert, but yeah.
Yeah, that's something that I can't even compete with. I'm more football, basketball adjacent at this point, and hockey, even though I did not watch the game the other night.
We're a well-rounded station.
We have to talk about playoff hockey. We have to talk about the fact that the Carolina Hurricanes and the Las Vegas Golden Knights are going to play an incredibly competitive Stanley Cup final, which I'm predicting will go to 7. Let's mark that. So next time I'm right there, we can go ahead and play that to Suave. Schaefer is texting us.
Hi, Schaefer. Hi, Mike.
Auburn is 4, Nebraska is 13. There you go. Yeah, we knew that. Tennessee is not hosting regional.
It's
believe that's
Chapel Hill regional, yeah.
Oh, okay. But they're playing Eastern Carolina.
Right.
I just kind of got that wrong. Schaefer goes, now make this correction after that outburst. Thank you, Schaefer. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead. Let's hit a break. Let's talk about the state of Texas. Everybody loves Texas. Don't they love Texas?
These weirdos. We got to talk about this.
I kind of love it. Do you not?
No.
This is like a classic little brother, big brother argument.
It's a fictitious pissing contest.
Yes, I know, but in May, when we're not playing any games, I would argue that fictitious pissing contests are the best way to pass time. I'm going to be real with you. I'd rather have a fictitious pissing contest as opposed to annual conference meetings and a bunch of litigation and bills.
Sure.
Do you want to read a bunch of papers, or do you want Cody Campbell tweeting at Steve Sarkisian? I know what side I want to be on.
Off my TV.
Middays with Matt here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. All right, we have a lot of ground to cover here. A lot of ground to cover. A lot of people want us to talk about a bunch of different things.
Okay.
We have
Got to focus up.
No, we got to talk about egg rolls. We have to talk about chimichangas.
A lot of people want you to address the allegations there. Yes.
We have to talk about my father.
Okay.
We also have to talk about Texas. But before we talk about all that, we have to remind you that this week's zone deal is with Cheeseburgers, a takeout joint. Get two $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Located in the Blackstone District at 40th and Barnum. They have savory smash burgers, crispy chicken, all beef hot dogs. They really do it all. You can go ahead to 1620thezone.com to enter in for a chance to win two $25 gift vouchers for just $25. So there you go. Cheeseburgers, always a great place to go and get cheeseburgers or hot dogs or whatever your little heart, or more importantly, stomach desires. All right, first, talking about stomachs. The New England clam chowder chimichanga, okay? This stems from, first, by the way, of my want to open up a chimichanga restaurant where we have two sections of the menu, Latinos and Gringos, okay? And on the Latino side, we'll serve all of the Latin things that your heart desires. And on the Gringo side, which probably will end up selling better than the Latino side, if we're being honest, we will sell Philly cheesesteak chimichanga, buffalo chicken chimichanga, right? Maybe like a fusion of like roasted poblano chimichanga. That's always a pizza chimichanga would be a good one too. I proffered up the opinion that I think if you put a little goop of New England clam chowder in a chimichanga, it would taste pretty good. Chowder is awesome. It's potatoes. It's clams. Maybe put a little crackers in there as well to get a crunch inside the chimichanga. I think it would be delicious. And by the way, a chimichanga and an egg roll are very different things. Yes, do you have to deep fry both things in order to make them? Absolutely. But do they have different structures? All right. Do they have different foundations? Do you eat them completely differently? Yes, you do. Chimichanga is more of a fork and knife thing. Okay. Egg roll is all hand food. You can't just put Skyline chili in a chimichanga. Also, too, I want to proffer up the opinion that Skyline chili a lot thinner, a lot soupier than chowder. All chowders are soups, but not all soups are chowders.
We looked
Chowders
this
is
up
very
earlier
different.
this week, yes.
Chowders is thicker. I think it would go great inside a chimichanga. Okay, my father. Mike Schaefer was very disappointed in my dad this morning because I had not seen the movie Brian's Song. Schaefer then had me text my father, "Why haven't you shown me Brian's Song?" Mr. McMaster has responded.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow! Exclamation point. I have no idea why I have never watched Brian's Song with you. It's one of my favorite movies, and I've watched it several times over the last 40 years.
Your dad's at that right age, yep.
Billy D. Williams played Gale Sayers in that movie, and he's the same guy who was Lando Calrissian in Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Next time you come in, we'll watch the movie for sure. There you go.
Look at you guys.
Thanks,
crossing one off the
Dad.
list.
Well, we'll just end up watching Wimbledon, you know. He loves that movie with Paul Bettany. That's like
the movie, not
no.
Okay.
He loves the movie Wimbledon with Paul Bettany. That is his go-to flick. Anytime we sit down, or he loves watching the first Harry Potter Deathly Hallows movie.
Oh, really?
Deathly Hallows Part 1 is like he's probably watching one of those two films. That's a Mike McMaster film. We probably should get Mike to text his top 10 Mike McMaster movies. It's a hodgepodge of just actions and not a whole lot of dramas, but some of which have some plots in them. He loves that Star Trek movie with Chris Pine, the first one.
The first, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. With who was Spock in that movie? I forget the actor's name. Very well accomplished actor, very good actor, and also has Zoe Saldana in that movie as well. That guy, has he fallen off? I thought he was in a big TV show.
He's on
recently.
a TV show.
Yeah.
Zachary Quinto.
Zach Quinto. Is it? Yeah, it is Quinto.
Mm-hmm.
I think we used to say like Quinto or something like that. We used to like add a little accent to that. J-Man's got it. Zach Quinto. By the way, J-Man is riding the wave of what we're bitching about this week. I've seen more and more people complaining about the fact that this is the year that Nebraska was supposed to play Tennessee. And now everyone's complaining about the schedule in terms of how hard the schedule is going to be. But then now more people are being like, well, It'd be harder if they weren't cowards and played Tennessee. There's even some like Tennessee accounts that are getting in on the Nebraska's cowards for not playing the Volunteers this year.
I think that's fair. I think that's something you have to take into account.
I don't think you have to take into account. I don't think that has to be taken into account in any way, shape, or form.
Hey, we're going to catch a lot of bleep if we do this.
I just think you have to take it on the chin. When you're the one who pulls out of a non-conference power matchup, right?
Which a lot of people are doing right now. It's not just Nebraska.
And when you look at the first 3 weeks of the season, you go, whoa, like Louisville, Ole Miss is one of the best non-comp matchups in the first 2 weeks of the season. Like, like to your point, a lot of teams have done that. I don't think you have to take that into account in any way, shape, or form when you look at Nebraska's current schedule and the record they might have, but you have to take it on the chin of that's a decision that you made. And if people are going to make fun of you about it, then fine, whatever. Okay, who cares? Go ahead and play your games. Speaking about people making fun of people, which the Big Ten and the SEC annual meetings have really just turned into a lot of pot shots from different coaches. John Summerall being like, oh, I would never have left Tulane if I couldn't coach them in the college football playoff. That's not a shot, by the way. That's what he literally had to say. Then he had Lane Kiffin being like, yeah, we would have won the national championship if I was still coaching at Ole Miss. And then the current head coach of Ole Miss who coached that team during the playoff goes, no, we still would have lost in the semifinals to Miami. So Steve Sarkisian, who Sark's been saying a lot of things, pretty big season for Sark, considering the fact that his team was ranked number one overall in the preseason last year and was the first team since 2012 USC to not finish the season top 10 after starting the season number one overall. Little fun fact there. Sark made a comment saying there is a team in our state that if we played their schedule with our 2s and 3s, we would make the college football playoff. Joey McGuire had the very funny response of saying, is he talking about me? talking about my team? Talking about there ain't no way. What do you mean? How can you be hating it from outside the club when you can't even get in? What are you talking about, Sark? You're talking about me? So Joey McGuire and Cody Moneybags Campbell laid it on the table and just said, all right, look, you play Texas State, you play ACU, we'll buy our teams out. We will. Even Joey McGuire and Cody Campbell have gone as far as to say, we'll buy out Texas's opponent so you don't have to play them and you can play us. I don't know if there's been any update on this, but I'm pretty sure it's just gone quiet on the Longhorns' end in terms of whether or not they'd be willing to impromptu just go, all right, screw playing our cupcake team. We're going to go ahead and play a Texas Tech team with aspirations to make the college football playoff. And when we're talking about $40 to $50 million rosters, Texas Tech is not a roster where you go, oh yeah, they went cheap this year. No, they have spent a lot of money, whether it be through high school recruiting or through transfer portal recruiting. I love the spin zone from Texas Tech. Texas, by the way, already has a very hard schedule. They have the third hardest strength of schedule in the country this season. Texas Tech has the 63rd hardest schedule in college football. Is Texas wrong? Is Sark wrong in terms of what he said with Texas Tech having an overall cupcake schedule? No, he is not wrong. Not wrong at all.
I don't know if their 2s and 3s would make the CFP.
You know what?
But,
I mean,
but he's right. We've pointed this out previously.
They play Abilene Christian, Oregon State, Houston, Sam Houston, Colorado, Arizona State, Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and TCU. I can't.
I think their 2s might be able to make the CFP.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like their 2s are very talented as well. There's not going to be a team here that's going to be ranked in the top 10 to begin the year. They might have one or two teams that are ranked in the top 25 in the preseason on the schedule. This is not a hard schedule whatsoever. If you want to look at Texas's schedule, the third. Now, granted, like Texas Tech plays in the Big 12. Texas plays in the SEC. Those two are very different in terms of the quality of team. Here is Texas's schedule. They play Texas State, Ohio State, UTSA, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, LSU, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Ohio State will be in the college football playoff. Tennessee very well could be in the college football playoff. Oklahoma made the college football playoff last year. Ole Miss is going to have Trinidad Chambliss. They could be in contention for the college football playoff again this season, and they still got a ton of talent. LSU spent a whole lot of money on this roster and have Lane Kiffin. They could end up being in the college football playoff. And Mike Elko and Texas A&M was in the CFP last season. That is a very hard schedule. And it would be a lot harder if you took away Texas State and you added Texas Tech. I like the spin zone from Tech, though, because they know that they're going to come out of this looking pretty good, right? You're going to complain about our schedule. You're going to say that, hey, we're playing a cupcake schedule and your 2s and 3s could go undefeated or make the college football play. Fine, we'll play you. They're like the little brother being like, oh, you're bigger, you're strong. Okay, well, let's fight.
Well, no, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the bigger brother's like, why would I fight you? I'm already fighting all these other people. I already got it tough as it is. I don't need to fight you to prove anything. Like schedules are, especially now in the college football playoff, you play your schedule to prove, hey, we're good enough to be in the college football playoff. Texas does not need to play or not need to add Texas Tech to their schedule to prove whether or not they can be in the college football playoff. They already have all that covered. Texas Tech honestly benefits from playing Texas because you're going to look at that Texas Tech schedule. And like I mentioned, you got Oregon State, Houston, Sam Houston, Colorado, Arizona State. They lose one of those games. They lose 2 of those games. They might end up being in the situation that Notre Dame was in, where Notre Dame, went 0-2, won 10 games in a row, didn't make the college football playoff because they didn't play anybody good enough in between playing Miami and Texas A&M. I don't see a team on here that's even akin to what Texas A&M or Miami was last season in comparison to what Notre Dame had to fight through. So I think Tech, honestly, is like, yeah, we kind of need to play a team like it'd be beneficial.
Tech's in the background yelling,
Texas.
"I'll pay you $1 billion if you fight me. I bet you won't fight me. I'll give you $1 billion." And like knowing that, but I'm never going to have to come up with the money because.
So I think that this is maybe it's petty. I think Tech knows Texas is going to say absolutely not. Why would we do this? And then you know what Texas Tech is going to do, and you know what their fans on Twitter are going to do. They're going to parade around like they went 1-0, right? They're going to celebrate. They're going to celebrate Texas saying no to playing in week 1 as if it's a victory against Texas. And they're going to say, "Oh, you're too scared to play us, or you don't want to do." No, I think that Texas is like, what do I have to benefit playing another incredibly difficult game in this landscape of college football? But at the same time, I kind of like McGuire and Campbell standing on business. Kind of like them saying "F you."
Yeah, if you can get the game,
all
get
right.
the game.
Yeah, if you want to play your 2s and 3s, we'll buy out Abilene Christian. We'll buy out Texas State. And you know what? Abilene Christian and Texas State might be like, okay, we'll take our money. We don't have to travel to Lubbock. We don't have to travel over to Arlington. Fine. We just get this money for free. Perfect. Thank you. We'll play another game. It's very funny to me. Very funny to me that what occurred. And, I like McGuire kind of sticking it to Sarkisian a little bit. John goes, wait a minute here. I've been told that Nebraska has the hardest college football schedule ever seen in 2026. I mean, John, come on, man. It's a hard schedule. You're playing 3 teams that were in the college football playoff last year. Iowa, I still think about that Iowa team last year. And if I'm an Iowa Hawkeye fan, like you're happy that you had the season that you had, you win 8 regular season games, all that type of jazz. But I'm looking at that team and with the record amount of draft picks they had for the Hawkeyes, you're like, that there were teams, and everyone's known this, like Iowa's had rosters where they win 10 games. And you're like, how the hell did they win 10 games? How the hell did they win 9 games with that team? That offense was awful. I think last year was the opposite. I think Iowa won 8 games last year, and you go, how do they only win 8? That was a pretty damn good football team. They had a lot of really good things going for them. They nearly beat Oregon at home. That USC loss will always, that's how they, especially with how they played in the first half and then kind of the collapse they had in the second half, that one's always going to be sour for them. And it should be sour for them. They shouldn't have lost that game. But you got to play Iowa. You got to play a Washington team with one of the best quarterbacks in the country. And then you also got to play or Illinois, who Illinois, I think a lot of teams, people will be fading them because you don't know how that quarterback situation is going to work out. You don't know how Caden Hauser is really going to look. The last time we saw Caden Hauser in the Big Ten, it didn't look very good. Same time, I think that Brett Bielema deserves a tremendous amount of respect for what they've been able to build over there in Champaign. Granted, they've lost a lot, especially on that offensive line and a little bit on the offensive line as well. But I think that what Bielema has been able to build, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to tell you, hey, traveling to Champaign, Illinois is going to be a walk in the park. It absolutely will not be. All right, let's hit a break. We'll hit some local stories. Trey Taylor. We'll also talk about a little volleyball here on Middays with Matt before we're joined by Austin Jacobsen at 1 and Balls at 1:20 here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network. All right, a couple local things here before we get to a call that is going to be very entertaining. First off, Nebraska Baseball hired a new strength and conditioning coach, Michael Chapman, strength and conditioning coach for the last 15 years. Started when he was 21. Very impressive stuff. Comes from LSU, who was their strength and conditioning coach. Now the new strength and conditioning.
The LSU-Nebraska rivalry continues.
It does continue. Kurt Joseph, who was awesome at his job. I mean, everybody talked about Kurt Joseph and the job he did from strength and conditioning for Nebraska Cornhuskers always speaks very highly of him and really challenged Nebraska every single year mentally and physically. It is a pretty big loss for Nebraska for Kurt Joseph to no longer be their strength and conditioning coach. He has the same job with the New Orleans Pelicans. So congratulations to Kurt. But all sources indicate pretty good hire for Nebraska basketball strength and conditioning. Also as well, Elite 11 competition for Trey Taylor. This is a big moment for Trey to go ahead and get his elusive 5th star if he's going to end up having that ranking. Obviously, it's something that he wants. It's something that he wants to accomplish. Also, too, would be a pretty damn good look for Nebraska if they were to have another 5-star quarterback. We all know how the other one turned out. But still be pretty fun for Matt Rule to kind of brag and boast, hey, we're pretty damn good at recruiting quarterbacks here at Nebraska. And finally, this was a news story, I think, from about 2 days ago, but we want to mention it. Brooke Nuneviller no longer going to be with the Omaha Supernovas for volleyball. I think it's a pretty big loss on both sides. I think it's a pretty big loss for the Supernovas, considering the fact, obviously she's a really good player, but they put a lot of stock in her, man. They all the billboards you see, it's Brooke Nuneviller right there for the Omaha Supernovas. When you go to Hy-Vee, who's the Omaha Supernova that is raised to the rafters that you could see all the time? It's Brooke Nuneviller. She was, if not the face already, becoming the face of volleyball here in Omaha. I think, honestly, I just think she was the face of the Supernovas, plain and simple. And I think it's a big loss for them, for her to no longer be on the roster, considering the fact they put so much time and put so much investment in her. And you need somebody to be the face of a new team and a new league in this city. I also think it's a loss for Brooke, though. I don't know, wherever she goes next, I don't know how much more investment you can get from a team in terms of putting you out there and marketing you as much as she was being marketed. And on top of that, you're in the volleyball state. Nebraska is the volleyball state. We are the groundbreaking state when it comes to this sport. I feel like it was a pretty damn good position to be in from just a marketing and like an exposure perspective for Brooke Nuneviller. Be very interesting to see what she does next in her volleyball career. Let's go to the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. We only got 2 minutes, Random Mike. So make them good and make them quick. What do you got for me, buddy boy? Good to hear from you.
Yeah, just want to say how likable the other sports are in Nebraska if you're an Oscar fan. And this softball team, man, talk about every transfer panning out. And maybe the transfer of all time in the history of the university. It's just fun to watch, and it's great to see. In football, hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe he's got some better assistants this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe that'll be the difference. You got anything else for baseball? Are you excited for baseball?
Absolutely. And another likable team, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I would 1,000,000%. Mike, I think when you win, you're likable, at least for Nebraska. Like, I think when Nebraska teams win, it inherently makes them likable. I think that's just kind of how I view it at this point. In my experience, and I know I'm young, but in my experience of Nebraska sports, I'm sure people can point out teams that won that they did not necessarily like, but, pretty recently, and maybe other things have to factor into it, every Nebraska team that I've seen has won has been pretty likable.
Yeah, and I'm really curious to see what Moyer does. Let me tell you something. His dad is an all-timer, truly one of the great major league careers ever for a guy that didn't have much talent, and he's into getting people to perform better. He wrote a book. I don't know if you're interested. His dad wrote a book in honor of Harvey Dorfman, one of the great sports psychologists, and I'm just wondering the connection to this team. And we'll see what happens. But the baseball team's got a shot.
What, Jamie Moyer played on 16 different Major League Baseball teams or something like that? I mean, Mac probably grew up in a lot of different cities. I don't know his story, but wouldn't be surprised if he was some sort of a baseball nomad growing up. But Yeah, cool stuff. Great insight, Mike. I appreciate it as always. We've got to let you go and hit a break here because we're about to be joined by Austin, but thanks for calling as always. See ya. Random Mike, everybody. The man, the myth, the legend. A man. He's not a myth or a legend. He's just called man. Austin Jacobsen joining us next. Hey, well, let's give a quick little shout out. It's somebody's birthday today.
Paul Skeens.
Kyle
Congrats.
Crooks, Nebraska's play-by-play announcer of the Husker Radio
Whoa.
Network. It's Kyle's birthday. What
Is
a
it
great
really?
day to have a birthday. Oh my God. Hi, Austin Jacobsen. Shout out Kyle Crooks is his birthday. Yeah, they announced it today on Twitter. I wonder who else's birthday it is today.
John F. Kennedy's. That's right.
Is it actually?
It is.
Happy birthday, Josh Hodson. What
There you
a
go.
day. What a day.
Oh.
Thanks for
I
getting the
feel
date
like
right, Austin.
I'm for sure the first person to say
Your
that on
wife
this show.
told me the wrong date. All right. Your wife steered me wrong.
She did. She really did.
Wow, Matt McMaster pranked on his own show. When could that ever happen?
You two are thick as thieves. You're always conspiring. I never trust you two. You're
We'll
like,
have a full week to conspire too. Are you excited about that?
I am very excited. Austin Jacobsen, when I take my week off in the summer, it'll just be middays with Austin. We can just make a package and everything like that. It'll be like a NASCAR, when they have a completely different paint scheme. We'll just do that for middays with Austin. I believe the week leading up to 4th of July. So thank you for filling in for me. It means a lot.
I do my best. I do what I can. I just can't wait to start the Reddit threads on 1620, the r/1620, and just be like, what's going on with Austin Jacobsen on Middays with Matt?
Oh my God, he's so much better. And he's more handsome. That's incredible. They need to hire him.
We're very chimney rocking it today, so we're trying our best.
Yeah, you're very you're definitely more Jimmy Neutron than usual today. Now, did you see my mustache and decide I'm going to do a mustache as well, or was this just a natural occurrence?
Yeah, is this a young people thing? What the hell's going on?
Yeah, why do
here?
we both have mustaches right now?
No, I forgot to shave for like 4 days, and so I decided I'm just keeping this. So yeah, we'll see how far this goes. But yeah, I don't have to. I don't have to go to any high school games for some time. So I figured if I'm going to look like a predator, I better do it now. So
good point. I think yours is more like 21st century good looking mustache, and mine is definitely more like filled out rodeo mustache. I feel like we have two different mustaches going.
Yeah, you definitely look like you're an extra in the Dahmer series on Netflix.
Okay,
but
thanks.
teach
I
their own.
appreciate that. I was more so going for like I look like a Riley Green, cover band.
Oh,
Cover
Riley
band.
Green. Riley
Green
sorry.
cover band.
I was like, why would you pick such a political character? But no, that would be gay.
Who do you think I
thinking of
picked?
Riley.
Are you
My
saying
bad.
Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is that who or is that her name? Or is that
That is. Good
okay,
job, Matt.
thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Like Middays with Matt does politics. Isn't that incredible?
Don't
You
make
should,
me
you
play
should start do the political side.
You want my political takes? You think my sports takes are bad? Do the whole thing. Have you heard this one? Oh yeah.
Stick to sports.
Great one. The classic. We have a whole. We keep adding to our Stibbs part of our wall here. We just keep adding more and more things that Stibbs created. We just keep dropping.
Gone but not forgotten. R.I.P. Stibbs.
R.I.P. Stibbs. Team clap for Stibbs.
He's somewhere out there, catching home run balls in space, in heaven, doing his thing.
Has he caught a home run ball before? Is that like a thing that Stibbs did?
No, that was just
I almost caught a foul ball. Did you see that in the Big Ten Network? The long foul ball against Oregon. I nearly caught it right in my hands. How have you been? How have you are you like doing anything now? Like what are you doing? Like what's your job?
I'm just doing my day-to-day right now. So, show producing, all that sort of thing. But yeah, right now it's pretty light for old Austin. So high school sports wrapped up, championships this week with boys golf and tennis. And then we'll have College World Series coverage, just like you guys will. Coming up here in the next coming weeks. And after that, we do have our NEB Prep 7-on-7 tournament that I'll be at. I heard you in the last segment talk obviously about Trey Taylor. Mike Sauter announced it today too, but Trey will be throwing at Bellevue West. So if anyone wants to see two Power 5 quarterbacks compete in 7-on-7 tournaments, you can see Omaha West Side's Braylon Warren, and you can see Millard South's Trey Taylor compete at the 7-on-7 tournament coming up in a couple weeks. So
Definitely
well worth
would
the price
be,
of admission. Well,
I couldn't agree more. And definitely would be remiss not to mention we've talked about Trey being in the Elite 11 contest, but Braylon Warren will also be in the Elite 11 contest. So hey, two Nebraska prep quarterbacks going to be competing in the On3 Elite 11 contest. I don't know. Someone would smarter than me and probably with more history than me could probably comment if that's happened before. If we've had multiple guys in Nebraska go and compete at the same Elite 11 contest in the same year.
Yeah, going off the top of my head, I know like Jet Tamala, obviously. Then you had Danny Kalin from previous. I think Christian. Ellsworth,
yeah, that'd be a good one. Yeah,
Christian Ellsworth would have been. I don't think Heinrich Harburg was invited to any Elite 11 camps. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, not off the top of my head.
After that Jimmy John's throw.
Did you? Yeah. Did you?
You know what? There's more than likely a chance that Zane Flores and then as well as
Danny
Kalin might have been there at the same time. Yeah, if they were in the same class, but I would have to look that up.
Let's talk about that. Heinrich Harburg throwing a Jimmy John's sandwich. You had some great intel, some great reporting, a slim 5 at Jimmy John's. Very, very good on you to find out what type of sandwich. I was going to guess based on the trajectory, it was probably a Pepe. I thought there might have been a little bit more weight behind that, but a slim 5, very impressive. That was 35 yards. Ravi did the math. Insane. I don't know if I could throw a football 35 yards, let alone a sandwich of 35 yards across a track. And a dot, by the way.
Yeah, Ravi and I are considering trying to go about this and see if we can replicate it in any way. Now, what we have also come to find out, this is the hard-hitting investigative journalism you bring me on for.
Absolutely.
That was actually the second sandwich that Heinrich had tossed. So that was the first sandwich was Hazel's. The second was actually another Kearney Catholic Stars sandwich that was also delivered. So he had tossed 2. So maybe had a couple of warm up, run the shoulder, that sort of thing. But he tossed that thing. He was ready for it. So, and don't forget, he's fresh off of a plane coming from Carolina. So he was, getting there to Burke Stadium first thing in the morning and tossing it and hitting dimes right at Saturday morning at Burke.
They should have made that a Husker game competition, sandwich throwing. How far can you huck the sandwich? Enough of this. Remember they did the rodeo with the automated bowls?
Yeah, that was something.
The way you shake your head. Did the Husker games just pain you? Did you just hate covering that? Was that one of the more longer days of Austin Jacobsen?
No, so I didn't have to cover it necessarily, but there were other people that I remember listening to it on the Huskers radio network, and poor Jessica Cootie and Damon Benning at the time. And you'll recall you did mention obviously Kyle Crooks, who is his birthday today, was not hired at the time, so they did not have a football play-by-play or an audio director at the time. So those poor two were trying to just navigate like the 3 or 4 hours of programmed sold coverage that they have to provide for the entire state across the Husker radio network. And they were doing their best, and I commend them for it. But man, there was just sometimes you could tell they were like, I don't even know what to describe what's happening out here. We will one day
Damon
go
was
back.
catching a punt at one point.
I think if the giant meteor is coming towards Earth, I think all of us as Husker fans should elect to say, let's just scrap all of the cool stuff like the 90s films and, the Jordan Westerkamp catches and all that sort of stuff. Let's just put the Husker games out there and say this was American football and see what the next civilization makes of that. So that way they can try to determine what exactly was going on.
Yeah, in the third quarter, we got to get the mechanical bulls out, right? That's what we got to do, right? We got, or we're in the fourth quarter, we're going to put a bunch of dummies, the automated dummies, and have them go across the field and watch all the backup quarterbacks just completely miss. That was
also, it was the first time we did see one TJ Lateef. People forget. It was the first time we did see TJ Lateef.
Was that the birth of the Tiefys, the Husker games?
It was. Had to have been. Yeah, forget Houston Christian.
What are we going to call the people who want Danny Kalin to start at some point during the season? Or what the Dannies?
Oh, who want Kalins? That's a good one. How about the Canines? That's an easy one.
Oh my God. That was so easy for you. The Canines. That'd totally be what it would be. Softball, you catching in the game yesterday?
Yeah, I notably tweeted. People got mad at me that I tweeted that I was like, the Huskers are upsetting my sleep schedule. I was tired. I was watching the bet on YouTube TV on my phone on my bed. I was doing my best, but
do people not know that you have to wake up early? You got to wake up pretty early, don't you?
I know. I try our best, but to be fair, that was just. It was hard to actually fall asleep because that was just one of the ultimate gladiator battles I've ever seen in sports. Just watching two teams that refuse to die. And I'll be honest, it was weird because of kind of a lot of just the Husker fandom when you are naturally a Husker football fan, and we've gotten the air let out of the tire so many times just in that sport. I never got that feeling watching the softball team. Like, it was almost the same as watching volleyball fall to Texas A&M, where it was like, well, they're going to figure out a way to get this done. I'm not worried about it. And then inevitably when volleyball lost, it was like, that's just shocking. That was like the pit in your stomach. That never came, obviously, because the Huskers found a way to do it. But I said it earlier this morning as well, but I thought it was very, very interesting watching online people talking about how, well, you know, Jordy Fromm is coming up to bat first. It's going to be over. She's going to walk this off. And no, it was all
everybody else.
Fromm's friends. Yeah, it was all of them making
else.
the big plays. And obviously Jordy had a fantastic game. The resolve, the ability to continue having an excellent day inside of the circle when it's not your day at the plate, but everybody else stepping up when they needed to. I thought it was just one of the more fantastic just sporting events that I've seen in real time, and the venue, the environment, every part of it was just fantastic.
I will say that when the ball goes over Samantha Bland's head and Johnson scores, and then immediately the next at bat is Jordy and Jordy is out, you're like, oh, damn. Like, here we go again. Like, that's, I kind of, when Jordy didn't get on base, I was like, dang it, like, here we go. And then Hannah Coor, I mean, just absolutely incredible. She had a great a super regional rather, against Oklahoma State. I mean, she's been manning center field for the entirety of the season and has done a great job doing it, and then stepped up big time. I think she's hitting like 500 in the NCAA tournament, which is crazy. But you're right. It was a Kuzak, obviously, with the homer. I thought Bella Bacon, who hasn't really started a whole lot this year, like, has kind of been the ninth starter in this team, was the ninth person hitting last night. Like, I thought she did a phenomenal job at first base playing defense. What do you think of the Bowling boys? You a big fan of the crotch chopping that's happening in front of the dugout? I love it. I think it's awesome.
Not to dox him, but he was on national TV. One Bryson Ball of Drake University, formerly of Papio South, and an NEB Preps Player of the Year, was amongst the
Bowling boys.
They were having a good time out there.
Ella Bacon's father is one of the Bowling boys now.
Yeah,
which is
now
insane.
Bryson, I don't think, was a part of any of the cross chopping or anything of that nature, but I'm very excited with that. You know, if you're going to represent the state of Nebraska, do it the right way. And, you know, if we're good at populating, we might as well promote that, right?
Do you think we need to bring the crotch chop back? I kind of forgot about the crotch chop before the Bowling boys. I forgot that it was something that we did a lot.
It would be fun. I wouldn't say nice. It would be fun to see the team adopt it, because I don't know if you've noticed, and I apologize for all the AM radio listeners and the FM listeners, obviously, in Central Nebraska, but I'm going to do something on the stream right now. You know that celebration? The entire team, both sides, the entire Women's College World Series has done this. Every time something good happens, one of the players will stand on base, and they just do this. They just go.
Like a ski jump? Like they're ski jumping?
Well, because they're yelling and shouting like back to their dugout.
Yeah, it's like a full body exclamation.
Yes.
But it does look like a ski jump. That's a pretty good apt description of it. Let's incorporate the cross chop. You know, let's see if we can get that in there, you know, do something cool with it.
We're trying to promote softball. We're trying to get more people, more families, more kids to watch softball, and you want the athletes to crotch chop on national television?
Yeah,
that's your idea, Austin Jacobsen?
You just save it and you call it the like a bones chop, and so they're doing this. Just say that instead. Then it's Nebraska.
Oh, so you wanted the inverted crotch chop, because that would be your coming out, or you need to be coming in on the crotch chop.
Like, what if we cross down across the crotch?
Well, you did. That's how DX did it. DX went. They would do the X. Well, no, I'm talking about D-Generation X with Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
What do you, don't roll your eyes like you didn't watch wrestling growing up.
I was just giving you DMX, man. Hey, Matt, do you want to be on a hot take with me?
Yeah, go ahead. I will. I could buy some stock in your hot take.
Listen, this will get the olds all riled up. And
I'm all in. I'm all in on that. I'm very good at doing that.
Last night's win for Nebraska softball cannot be one of the greatest moments in Nebraska athletics history, because the team was not wearing red.
That is the stupidest take I've ever heard of mine.
No, you want to be a part of this take. No, you want to be a part of this take. I know you're mad you didn't come up with this one first.
No,
you wish you would have seen this.
No, absolutely not. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Were they not wearing Huskers across their chest? Did they not have
I believe it said Nebraska.
Oh,
technically.
damn it! Did they not have Nebraska across their chest? Did they not have Herbie Husker on their
Well,
helmet?
I'm sorry. That's a great point, Matt. What's the logo for the University of Nebraska Athletics? I believe it's a stock N, is it not? I didn't realize that they are the Fighting Herbies. That's interesting.
So you're saying that they are a completely different university last night?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know who I was rooting for last night.
I agree with Prison Mike in the YouTube chat. He says, I admire such a take. It's wrong, but I love it. I agree completely.
So that was yesterday.
With Prison Matt.
Yesterday was the greatest win in Nebraska Herbie history. Is that what you're saying?
I like that. That's exactly right.
The
Yes.
Nebraska Herbies had. I mean, I've never seen them win any better. Are we also counting when they had the blackout for USC? Were they the Nebraska Herbies as well?
Yep, that would have been one of the worst losses in Nebraska Herbie history.
No, I actually think the worst loss in Nebraska Herbie history is when they wore the pink stripe, the pink N, and the pink face mask with the pink shoes and the pink gloves at Minnesota and got their, S rocked.
That is true. Yeah.
That'd probably be.
I'm just disappointed you didn't want to join in on this take with me. It's fine.
I mean, I'm not as much of a troll as you and Happer. Like, this is a Connor Happer take for sure. Happer would be all over this and saying they didn't wear red, so they didn't win. That's what Happer would be like. Happer would be all over this. I'm not. This is stupid. They are Nebraska. That's too stupid for me. Breaking, by the way. Okay, That's how stupid it is. It's too stupid for me.
Our stupidity knows no bounds, buddy.
It does.
That is true.
We do some stupid things.
Speaking of stupidity and fans, how much Facebook AI scrolling did you do today? Because I saw 3 different AI posts that a lot of people fell for revolving around Nebraska softball.
Who got pregnant?
Did Jordy Ball give the janitor $100,000?
No,
because
no, one of my favorites, actually, it's very close to that, Josh. It was that Jordy Ball and the Huskers, or Jordy Fromm, correct, yeah. After Jordy and the Huskers won, they returned to their dugout after a quick celebration and then started singing the national anthem. And the entire crowd was moved and everyone joined in. It was quite a scene. I can't believe that was real.
Moving, riveting, and we all love so much going into the locker room after very big wins in society nowadays. So, I mean, it's a root cause of everything that we talk about. So I'm so glad somebody could publish that story and get that out there. I mean, it just brave from our Nebraska Corn Huskers. Real quick, John says that I have a worse take than you, and I shouldn't be making fun of you when it comes to the fact that yesterday's win was non-affiliated with Nebraska because they were wearing black. Can I interest you in a clam chowder chimichanga?
Oh my God. What the hell? No.
What do you mean? It would be great. It's potatoes and clam and cream. And
so have you ever heard of a soup sandwich?
No, but I'd love to have one someday.
See, exactly. A soup sandwich. It sounds delicious, but it's a mess, right?
Isn't that just a bread bowl at Panera?
No, a soup sandwich, meaning like it's an actual sandwich. You can't throw this, Heinrich Harburg. It's a soup sandwich. What you were describing is a soup chimichanga, which means it has the potential to be delicious, but it is incredibly messy. And I'm not about getting a mess. I like to stay clean. For lunch today, I had microwavable popcorn. There's no mess on this body. All right. I'm not worried about it.
You need carbs. You need to eat.
Brother, popcorn is carbs, you dummy.
It has no calories. It has no calories. Popcorn has 0 calories. You ate a whole bag of popcorn.
Can you just go back to home economics, please? I swear.
I never had home economics. You had religion.
Wow. I'm shocked the Chicago public school system ruined you. Wow.
I wasn't in a Chicago public school system. I was.
Oh, you were private? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that surprise you? Come on.
Well, then it's no surprise that Trey Taylor wanted to go to a great public education school system like Nebraska's and the Omaha area, including the Miller Public School District. That's fantastic. I'm glad he got out of the Chicago area Catholic school programs.
I mean, Carmel's actually pretty good where he was going to school. It's actually not a bad school at all. It's actually
you didn't have home economics.
We had religion instead of home economics. I can't tell you how many carbs popcorn has, but I can tell you about the New Testament.
That's good. I'm pretty proud of you. Very.
Are you gonna have? What are you gonna have for dinner? A cucumber? What are you gonna do here?
No, I have a Greek yogurt protein bowl hanging out, waiting in the fridge right now. So I'm gonna have that here.
Do you do overnight oats? Are you one of those people?
No, I don't like oatmeal. It's not for me.
Thank God. You don't like oatmeal at all?
I do like an oatmeal raisin cookie, but just not in general. No, I'm not for oatmeal.
Fair enough. Well, oatmeal raisin cookie. If I'm going to have a cookie, I'm not going to be healthy. Get out of here. I think the oatmeal raisin cookie is one of the stupidest things in existence in our society. Why are we trying to have a healthy cookie? If you're going to do a cookie, just do a cookie.
See, I don't see the oatmeal raisin cookie is not a health cookie. It's just an alternative cookie. It's just a different choice.
The greatest oatmeal raisin cookie could never taste better than an average chocolate chip cookie.
Oh, that's a.
You can have the best oatmeal raisin cookie in the world. It won't even be close to a double chocolate chip.
I'm gonna push back on that. I think the greatest oatmeal raisin cookie in the world is far better than an average chocolate chip cookie. I think I'll stand on that.
I would actually offer that the chocolate chip cookies that I could get at Hy-Vee are probably better than the best oatmeal raisin cookie out there. By the way, store-bought chocolate chip cookie slept on, in my opinion. Pretty phenomenal.
I like a little bit of crisp to my cookies, so usually those cookies are a little too soft.
Do you do like home baked cookies? Like, are you kind of off getting store cookies?
Yeah, man. I'm a trad wife, so I do everything I can here. You know, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning. I wear the same outfits at home.
Are you the one making dinner?
Yeah, every night.
Good for you.
Dr. Fiance, she doesn't lift a finger. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Do you know how many years of school she went through? I can make a pasta bake if I have.
I'm not okay. Why are you taking me asking you if you cook as me complaining about what your fiance does or does not do? That's not what it is at all.
Well, it's because you're hitting on my wife once again.
I'm not hitting on your wife, and she's not your wife. She's your fiance.
Good point. I'm glad you noted that. So you know that there's still time for you. That's what you're trying to set up. That's what you're saying.
TikTok.
Every time you come on, I just get roasted. Andy goes, instead of middays with Matt, it should be mid takes with Matt, and mid takes is being generous. Doug goes, Matt's parents should ask for a refund. Tay goes, Matt McSteal your girl. No, don't shake your head in agreement. That is ridiculous. Wood Africa 2010 says, okay, store-bought bakery or Chips Ahoy? No, store-bought bakery. I would take a fudge stripe over the greatest oatmeal raisin cookie of all time. I think a fudge stripe is better than any oatmeal raisin cookie you could give me ever.
A fudge stripe?
What do you mean? A fudge stripe? Fudge stripes are awesome.
I'm not getting in a Keebler box, man.
Those are always lying around my parents' house, and I'll dip every now and then.
As much as I would want to make this the Austin and Pat show.
There's a huge difference between cookie availability and like cookies that I want in my home, like cookies that I am purchasing. Those are two completely different things.
Here's a take that I'll leave you with. The best availability or the best ability is availability is one of the worst takes of all time. The best ability is ability. I'm available, okay, to the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Bulls and I was available for 4 years to Nebraska football. I was ready to go. All right. I didn't have the ability. Okay. What matters more than availability actually is the last part, ability.
Okay, just to unpack that a little bit.
Go ahead.
Do the Chicago Bears have any way to contact you directly if they really did? Really?
Absolutely. And my number's in the yellow pages.
It would be the white pages.
That's just you're simply just not available to the Chicago Bears. So unfortunately, your take is incorrect.
I totally am. Everybody's available to Chicago Bears. They can pick anybody off the street, say sign a contract and come and play.
Wrong draft, buddy. That's the government. Can't do that. Wrong draft.
They can offer anybody a contract and say, come play for me.
That is true.
They can do that. That is a lot for them to do. I hate you. I can't stand you. I will talk to you soon. We'll see you next Friday.
I can't wait. I'm so excited to see you.
Are you? Well, we're supposed to do our unrecorded podcast episode 2 soon. When are we doing that? When are we doing pictures and pies?
Yeah, great question. This weekend and into next week, I'm dog watching my parents' dogs because they're in Alaska. So I've got them for a while. So I'm stuck at home.
We got Ghost Dog texting me saying that carbs are in popcorn.
Yeah, I'm doing the math on a bag of Orville Redenbacher. 42.5 grams of carbs.
You need
in
protein.
A bag of popcorn.
You need protein. All right. Sorry, you can't just have a bag of popcorn and call it a lunch.
But also, Matt, your brain function is based off of carbs, so that's how that works. But you wouldn't know because you didn't go to home ec.
That's a high brain level because you don't think the Nebraska Cornhuskers won a game yesterday.
All I know is Sydney Public Schools education, Catholicism. That's what I'm saying.
Austin Jacobsen of Herd at Sports, everybody. Chef's kiss, absolutely beautiful. We talk to you soon. Middays with Matt. Going to take a break. Coming up next with Balls. Everybody, balls, 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 balls. Everybody. Balls, 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 balls. Everybody, balls, 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 balls,
going well. Josh's family.
Balls, 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 balls. Everybody.
It's birthday balls.
How old is your son?
7.
Great. And now it's just hears me screaming balls into the microphone.
That's a target demo for that intro, baby.
Some would say the target demo for the show is probably for 10-year-olds.
A little high, but yeah.
Thanks, Josh. What's happening in Major League Baseball? The good, the bad, the ugly, the balls that are happening.
Do you remember 1 month ago today when the Phillies fired their manager, Rob Thompson?
Yes, I do remember. And then they were going to hire Alex Cora, and then Dave Dombrowski goes, oops, he's not available.
Yeah, he wants to hang out in Puerto Rico all summer. Who can blame him?
I mean, it's a pretty good spot to hang out. He's going to be a great manager for the Marlins.
Yeah, well, the Phils have gone 20-8 since then, and now are in second place in the NL East.
Don Mattingly, baby. I mean, you can dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives, or should I say, Mr. Don. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Good for. I mean, well, not really for you.
I mean, they're 8.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves. But
are you going to have the bad or the ugly include the Chicago Cubs? Because if so, please don't.
Okay, then we will not be doing the bad this week.
Okay, do the bad.
The Cubs have won their last 2 games after a painful 10-game losing streak.
I told you yesterday. I told you they win yesterday. I
you
felt
did.
It in my loins.
I called you a madman.
Yes, you did. Plus 144.
I said Skeens versus the Cubs.
Colin Ray, I did tell you, would shove. He did pitch pretty well.
Very quickly, was Colin Ray a country singer in the 90s?
You're going to ask me that? I'm really the one that you should ask.
He sang Love Me. Yeah, I remember that song.
Love Me.
Yeah. Okay, because I keep hearing this Colin Ray is on the Cubs, and I'm like, the country singer is not on the Cubs. Okay.
Oh my God, Eastern Carolina just hit a homer against Tennessee.
Oh, top of the 9th. Ooh, 2-1 ECU.
Oh my
over
God,
Tennessee.
we need to get we need to rewind and pause the cheering section for Eastern Carolina. That was quite something.
Okay, very quickly, Milwaukee is still up on Auburn 10-3.
Oh my God,
in the 5th inning.
Good God.
And Georgia Tech up on UIC 22-3.
Jeez. Okay. Is there not a run rule in college baseball? Can we not?
Got to get to the 7th, I believe.
Okay. We can just make some,
maybe just call it.
Yeah. It's 22 score 19 runs in 4 innings. Get out.
The ugly.
Yes.
This one actually ugly. Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association each unveiled their first offers in a new labor negotiation. Jeff Passan of ESPN, as he usually does, summed it up perfectly. Quote, "The gap between the sides is not just enormous, it's fundamental. MLB has proposed a hard salary cap. Players are against it for obvious reasons. Still too early to panic, but it is not a great start to getting a new CBA in time to avoid a work stoppage next season."
I don't know. What slant should we take here? Should we be the guys who really delve into this and who really read about this and try and figure it out? Or should we be the guys who are like, stop talking about it?
I'm willing to read the things smart people write on the radio.
Okay.
And give them credit for it.
I'm willing to just completely ignore it until we have to.
That's fine.
And honestly, that's kind of my strategy with baseball in general.
Got about 9 months before we really have to talk about this.
Let's just really take in the season and just enjoy it. All right, that's our slant. We're the guys enjoy the season. Enjoy the baseball. Enjoy the baseball. Stop bitching and moaning about everything else. Enjoy the season. That's what we should do that one. Okay, great job with balls.
Good balls.
Do we want to give some score updates across college baseball?
Yeah, I got them right in front of me.
Go ahead.
We gave those two. Kentucky up on Wake Forest 5-4 in the 7th. Boston College up on Liberty 3-2 in the top of the 9th, so just a couple outs away from that going final. Texas up on Holy Cross 7-0 in the 5th. Florida on top of Rider 3-0 in the 6th. Southern Miss leads Little Rock 3-1 in the 5th. Kansas, their first home regional game 4-1 currently over Northeastern in the 5th. Couple games in the 2nd inning, no score between Lipscomb and Mississippi State. And South Carolina Upstate has the upset right now over Oklahoma State 3-0.
We have a text from Schaefer. Who
Hi, Schaefer.
I don't know what Schaefer's doing today. He's listened to the entirety of the show.
Love a good mid-show air check.
And just literally
Mm-hmm.
just texting back and forth. He said to me, offering clam chowder chimichangas to all of your guests is a great bit.
I mean, the food item is a disgrace.
I
but-
just heard your wife in the background go, disgusting.
Yeah.
We need somebody. We have friends in the cooking business. Somebody needs to make me a clam chowder chimichanga, and I just need to eat it, and I'll either eat my words or I will be like, no, this is great. This is phenomenal.
If there are any chefs out there that would like to prepare Matt a clam chowder chimichanga and deliver it to the studio, I'll get them a shirt, a hat, anything to get Matt to eat this on the radio.
A hat? I would like a hat. I need to make a clam chowder chimichanga in order to earn it. Is that what
I
you're gonna tell me?
guess.
I'm telling. I think it'd be pretty good.
I just don't know what happens when you deep fry it. Like, what happens to the middle?
But it's in the chonga, and then it gets chimmied. And when you chimmy it,
Technical term.
it insulates it. Does chimmy mean something else? Is there an Urban Dictionary word when it comes to chimmy? CHIMI would be the
okay, sure.
Would be the proper Urban Dictionary.
Dictionary.
By the way, real quick,
it's in there. It's always in there.
It's always in there. Is there never? You could put a combination of any sort of letters, and it will be there in the Urban Dictionary. Go
Okay.
ahead. What does chimmy mean?
The name for a gorgeous lady who only cares to be herself and doesn't conform to the society around her. A woman who stands up for all that she believes. A girl who loves her family and friends. A female who is strong in the presence of despair,
God.
loyal in the presence of temptation, and powerful in the presence of danger.
So she's not a catch. She's a chimmy. Yeah,
You're my chimmy.
There you go. There you go. That's how you get a good one.
Does that make me the chonga? Is chonga?
Oh,
is chonga in
Mr. Chonga. Hell yeah. Are you?
These are weird places where we're going. It's always in there.
When is it not in there? That's the point of the Urban Dictionary.
Chonga is a synergistic herbal smoking blend containing natural DMT, herbs such as passion flower and blue lotus, typically ayahuasca vine and or leaf.
So your wife is a catch, and you are a acid blunt.
Yes,
is what you.
I think that tracks.
You are an acidic
actually.
Blunt to your wife's
all things considered
strong foundation and non-conformation to society. That's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You should just say that. You are. I'm the chonga to your chimmy.
I'm the chonga to your chimmy, honey.
I don't think chimmy is like, if I called a girl and I went up to her and I said, hey, you're real chimmy,
she would not take that as a compliment.
I'd get slapped.
Yeah.
And then what would I do? I'd read this long Urban Dictionary definition.
No, ma'am, you don't understand.
You don't get it. This is what the Urban Dictionary says. All right. Well, we are not going to read from an Urban Dictionary coming up in the next segment. We're just going to read from a TV schedule and tell you what you need to watch this weekend and give you a dog that maybe you can cash in on here on Middays with Matt. been quite the show. We've
Fun
talked
show.
chimichangas, carbohydrates, clam chowder.
There's also, very quickly, there's another definition of chonga if you'd all like to look that up on your non-work computers
No,
this afternoon.
I think I'm just going to go up to a woman and be like, I want to be the chonga to your chin. I think she definitely would take that well.
Who wouldn't?
Idiots, that's who.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find out. The crossover theme is going to find out of whether or not I'm going to drive to Lincoln to go and watch this.
Okay.
Baseball.
They can help you make that life decision. Yeah, sure.
I don't know when I'm going to do. There's a part of God. This is like me being young, right? Where it's like I don't really like. I could do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a part of me that is like, I have the ticket. I bought the ticket. I should honor the ticket. I should go and watch my school go and play a playoff game.
And I think that's the thing people are going to say. Like, you paid for the ticket.
But
Go.
I'm going to go Sunday, regardless of who's playing. I'm going Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's like, is the ticket $56 for 2 games, or is it $56 for 1 game?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But then there's just the part of me that just wants to like sit down.
Don't want to stand in the rain all night.
Well, I'm first off, I gotta leave. I have a out. I got a 6:30 out. I gotta leave at 6:30. I gotta be gone at 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Like I have to come back to Omaha because I have people coming and visiting me.
So you got a tight window.
I do. The ideal window was I drive there, I see most of the game, I drive back.
That's an interesting wrinkle to the scenario. I'm excited to hear how it plays out.
Me too. What are we watching this weekend?
We got the NBA Western Conference Finals, Game 7, Spurs and Thunder in OKC, 7 o'clock Saturday night on NBC. Do I need to tell you the series is tied at 3?
No, you don't.
It is. Eastern Conference Finals, Game 5 in the NHL. Canadiens and Hurricanes, 7 o'clock tonight on ESPN. Hurricanes to the Stanley Cup Finals with a win there. If they need a Game 6, it'll be Sunday. Baseball on our TVs this weekend. Twins, Pirates tonight on Apple. Phillies, Dodgers also on Apple. Royals, Rangers tomorrow afternoon on FS1. And the big series this weekend, Cubs and Cardinals, 6 o'clock tomorrow night on Big Fox, 6 o'clock Sunday night on NBC. College baseball going on, of course. Squeeze Play returns to ESPN Plus all weekend long. It is on ESPN 2 today at 2, and then again at 4. I don't know why. And then Sunday at 5 on ESPN. South Dakota State takes on Nebraska, scheduled for a 3 o'clock first pitch on ESPN Plus. Softball, day 2 in Oklahoma City at the Women's College World Series. It's Texas and Mississippi State tonight at 6, and it is followed by UCLA, Arkansas. Day 3, the more interesting day, tomorrow, Tennessee and Texas Tech at 2 on ABC, and then Nebraska and Alabama. The biggest game in Oklahoma City tomorrow night, 6 o'clock on ESPN.
I'm fired up. I'm fired up for
It's going to be a great sports weekend just in general, but here locally, going to be mega weekend.
Well, then also, like, me and John Bishop are going to have a hell of a weekend because we're going to get Nebraska College Baseball plus Nebraska College Softball plus Game 7 of the Stanley Cup or of the NBA Western Conference Finals. And then
John is so excited about Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals.
But he is excited about the fact that the Cubs are going to be on national television on both Saturday and Sunday. That's awesome too. You get Fox on Saturday and then you get NBC on Sunday.
That can be the 4th game of the quad box we've been trying to build Saturday night.
Tell you, man, I think the quad box is one of the greatest conventions that we have had in modern television
Truly
history.
Revolutionary in a time where it's like, I don't know that there's a lot of revolutionary ideas
Can I
anymore.
be real with you? That word revolutionary gets thrown around way too much. That is a proper use of that word for the quad box. The fact that you can actually watch multiple things at once on one TV. And also we talked about how, like, you know, we live in a society where you have to buy 2 TVs. You got a big enough TV. You buy a big enough TV. You only need one. You just quad box it.
Yeah, I guess, you know, you can make your own Squeeze Play anytime you want right here. I guess that's what we should have done. I didn't think of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't put Squeeze Play in the Urban Dictionary.
All right, folks, let's talk right now. I'm going to kill your bookmaker. I'm going to rip his throat out. I will blow this man out. I will step on his throat until the man chokes. Let me tell you how. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. Dog. Winners. I'm on a roll.
Dude, you got to love dogs, right?
Oh, we are on a roll. You called me a madman. You called me stupid. You called me unintelligent. You didn't call me unintelligent. You just said that you didn't think Paul Steen
up here I did
to lose. What else do you say?
Oh, I can't say it on the radio, Matt.
Great point, Josh. Let's take, you know what? I believe in Steven Kolick. I believe in the Kansas City Royals. I believe in Matt Quattrero. Plus 109 on the road to defeat the Texas Rangers tonight. I'm going to take Kansas City. There you go. There you go. Oh, my God. He picked a baseball. Get used to it, everybody. Unsportsmanlike conduct and the crossover coming up next here on the 1620 The Zone Radio Network.